Corporal Tales Radio Theater presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. In our last broadcast, our brave band of investigators sealed the Father of Maggots, no more than 10 to 12 inches long, back into his tomb and defeated the curse of the Terrasiri. They defeated a terrible evil and sealed it back into its aeons ancient tomb and escaped with enough gold to increase their fortunes. 4 years have passed between chapters, during which the investigators keep in touch with each other and with their good new friend, Jackson Elias. In January of 1925, Elias sends an urgent telegram to each investigator and asks them to come to New York City and help him research the lost Carlisle expedition. What will happen to them next? Stay tuned to find out. Hi again, everyone.
Hello.
Three sessions, everybody did the rest of their raises and discovered, much like a lot of people do playing this game for the first time, that there may have been mistakes made during character creation that are better understood. This is why we played through the optional prologue, to help get into the juice and the meat before we get into the real campaign, where you're all gonna not die.
See, Tyler, I'm going to need you to never say juice and meat ever again after
meat.
that
Now,
prologue.
see, you take fruit punch and you pour it over some steak.
Nope.
You let that marinate for a day.
I never want to hear about
Cran
anything.
raspberry.
Then
Diet
you-
cran raspberry.
Yeah, and then you grill that, and then you get the flavors of the juice. It's juice meat. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was thinking of meat juice, you know, where you blend the meat with some water and then you got...
Are you telling us, Steve, that you don't have any juicy meat in your house?
No.
It's a trap!
After
Steve's got some juicy meat for you.
after
Is it no more than 10 to 12 inches?
we got
Yes.
we got through all of last week without and then we make it 2 minutes into this episode.
Hey, man.
2
Look,
minutes.
guys.
Thank
Look,
you.
you guys.
Thank you. Good night.
So, upon discovery of these flaws, we're going to go over live what NPCs typically have, as I create so many NPCs. And the book always has a set thing that it does for them. We're going to discuss those things, and then these four will work together to balance their characters. We do understand that they're not completely rebuilding, so the points may be slightly off because they're pulling points from skills that already have points to raise other skills. But they're trying the best they can to make sure they only pull points from the right pool, either recreational skill points or professional skill points. So, when an NPC is made, there are 4 constants. They always have at least 40 or 50 points in dodge unless they're old or otherwise feeble. They always have...
always?
Yeah, always. Because this is not Pulp Cthulhu, which means death can happen with one bad roll on a shot. You could get shot once and die in this game.
I mean, it's kind of like real life in that sense.
Yeah. 2, they always have 2 or 3 skills that they're really good at, and then the rest are lower, as opposed to spread out evenly across everything. A lot of people here spread them out evenly across everything, because that's how you do it in most RPGs. But in this one, they tend to be focused. And 3, all the NPCs have many languages, but we're not going to mess with that because it's not super necessary in this game. So, the 4 of you are going to raise some key things that you think are best for you and lower some others so that you're more balanced and you all have something that's over 70 or over so that you're really good at those things. We're going to start with Dan the Hobo.
Uh-oh.
What are your highest skills now?
Now, my boxing is 70.
Okay.
I got it raised. That's... I mean, there's that, and there's my fast talk of 65.
Who else has fast talk really high of the 3 of you? John, Sarah, and Steve.
30.
My fast
I got
talk
no
is
fast
just
talk.
5.
So I would recommend you
5.
bump that up 70 or over 2, Eric, by stripping something else. So that's your thing for the social skills. That's your social thing.
Okay.
And then, what's your shooting at?
50% for rifles and shotguns, and base 20% for handguns.
Since you're the main shotgun hobo with a shotgun, I would also raise that, and that would be your 3. Also, for every 10 points you raise shotgun over 50, you can add 5 to handguns because they're symbiotic skills.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
One
That's
will pull
cool.
the other up once you break 50.
So if I raise it to 60, handguns goes up to 30?
20, yeah, 5 more, correct.
Oh, 5 more. Okay.
Or no,
All
you're
right.
right, 10 for 10, sorry. Yeah, if it's at 20 now, it would go to 30.
Okay, got it. Cool. All right,
Clive!
so I just have to...
Yes.
You're pretty good. Your charm is crazy high. Your photography is at what?
My character is perfect.
What's your
This is the
spot?
best
What's your
character.
spot hidden?
31.
As the intrepid reporter, I recommend you bump that real high, but you don't have to. Seems like your
mean-
niche.
Would I have a high psychology?
No, because you're not the kind of reporter who interviews people. You're the guy who takes the pictures.
Alright, maybe.
Plus, you seem, the way you played your character seems to me more like a field reporter, going out and getting action stories, not people pieces. You do people
Is
pieces? Psychology is like sense motive. Telling you
No,
people
no.
are lying.
Well, see, wouldn't he? That was my thought. Was he would try to suss out when somebody's trying to lie to him, he's trying to get the like truth of the story.
Yes. What's it at now?
70.
You could leave it that way. As long as someone else picks up that spot hidden, it just seems natural for your character. Also, you could strip something else for spot hidden. Tank something.
I'd
could-
pick up spot hidden because of fixing machinery.
Yes, you would also fit you.
Mhm.
Because you have to see small details all the time.
I might.
Also, that's one skill that's good if 2 people have it. That's like the core skill of this game.
Yeah, it seems like spot hidden is one that kind of
Dodge.
is rolled,
Mhm.
and then dodge is just to keep you alive.
Hazel,
So-
Okay.
what are your highest?
Let's see here. What to do? Actually, I've got a number of them, but really, let's see. Mechanical repairs at 60. And then I've got a few tied at 50, such as drive, auto, and electrical repair. Oh, spot hidden's at 51, by the way.
If I was you, I would take the spot hidden, the drive, and the mechanical repair. Try to get those higher by tanking other things, 70 or higher.
Yeah.
That's what you do, those things. Especially since you flattened a vampire with a car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was pretty awesome.
Yes.
Pretty
I've
epic.
got my dodge is
Get a
as
bonus
low
for
as
that.
25.
Probably want to bring that up too if you're afraid of getting shot at, which is more likely now. There'll be more action in the prologue was built for you to get used to the game in the campaign, and it's not very deadly.
For some reason, I've got 20 in library use.
You could tank that and let somebody else pick it up because it doesn't really fit you. That could be what's the minimum for library use? What's yours at, Eric? Because I know you put no points in it.
It's 20%, but if anybody has the main book, it's all the default skills are on page 56.
Oh yeah, I have a character sheet too if you need them, but let's double check. Library use default is
20.
20. Yep.
Oh. It's a bummer I can't take away from that.
And then while you look at those, what about you, rich boy?
Oh boy. So I have realized that Sydney is the exact thing that you talked about. I am that key example of spread out way too thin. So my highest skill currently is only it's technically my credit rating, which I bumped all the way up to 90, which is not going to change. So other than that, it's 67 for charm. So highest skill is only a 67. Need to have something in the 70s for the most part. something, Sean already has charm is maxed out at 90. So I went through and I actually stripped a bunch of points from a bunch of different skills. And I'm basically gonna have to rework this whole character.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, he just has a bunch of 40s and stuff, and it's just not. It just doesn't work. I also first thing, quickly enough, honestly, I think I'm gonna go ahead and swap rifle shotgun for handgun.
Okay.
Just swap the two numbers, so I have a 50 in handgun and a 20 in shotgun rifle.
Okay.
It seems like nobody's using handguns, and so I don't want to just eliminate an entire weapon type. Yeah, so that's an easy fix. Just swap those two numbers. I have a total cleared up of 137 skill points. That's taking 37 points out of charm, 5 out of apology, 10 out of drive. Since Hazel's going to be doing all my driving, it doesn't make sense for me to have any in driving.
Right.
5 in fast talk, 5 out of fast talk, 10 out of intimidate, 20 out of persuade. All those social skills Sean has pretty much on lock, except for fast talk, which I think Daniel is going to have good to go.
Well, I only have charm, like a psychology, I guess. What's psychoanalysis?
Psychoanalysis is how you
mental
feel.
healing.
Yeah, actual
basically.
psychology.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you
Psychiatry.
time, if you talk to a psychoanalyst, you can sanity.
You're a shrink.
Yeah. And then pilot, I took 20 points out of, just to have a little bit in there. But like like flying is so new, it's
Yeah.
Not very common.
not very common to have. So I'll still have 20 in piloting. So in that one scene where we have to deal with a plane, I can still try to make the roll. But for the most part, it just didn't make sense. I tried to make him this new like frontier, like edge of the technology explorer, and that just I'm gonna hone it in a little. I'm gonna focus
Climbing, jumping.
I'm gonna focus in archaeology. So basically just swapping points out of anthropology into archaeology, and then that, yeah, maybe upping climb, maybe upping jump a bit, dumping a lot into occult, I think, and then working out spot hidden and dodge. I think those are what I'm focused on. 2. That was a lot of talk for nuking the character.
And while you guys change your numbers, I'm going to throw in a few things you can also make notes of. People at home can also remember. If you don't remember, it's your fault. First, entering into the main part of the campaign. Oops, sorry. For the main part of the campaign, I will no longer be as hinty, which means if you feel like you got stuck or you're way off track, I won't necessarily stop you, unless it's no longer entertaining. So always remember, you can make no rolls or clue rolls. But you have to ask for them. 2, this is a globe-trotting campaign, and clues will send you quickly to other places if you just grab a clue and go. Make sure you feel like you've exhausted an area before you move to a new one, because there's not necessarily any going back. And it's more deadly now, so that's why we're talking about dodge. But remember that when fights are happening, and also remember that when you feel like you need to do a thing, but you're not built for it. Like none of you has the skill that's needed, but you really need to do that thing. When that happens, hirelings are available, especially with Rich Boy here in the party. What'll happen in that case is you'll tell me, we want to do a heist, but we're going to suck at heists, so we want to hire a heist crew. I will pull out 4 hirelings, you will pay for them, and then each of you will take the role of one and roleplay the heist as your hirelings. So it will not just be, okay, the thing happens. It'll still be action.
Dope.
Cool. I like it.
That is very entertaining.
I hope so. Also, for the people at home, as discussed in the opening session, because of the nature of a lot of Lovecraft's stories, he kind of relies on minorities at times to be his villains, and this campaign has been cleaned up a lot since its original version. There's still a lot of minorities as villains, so if you're following along with the campaign, you may see we've changed some of that. We may replace some people here and there with appropriate replacements that still fit the time period and where they were at, but are not necessarily all of one kind of people.
I
And
would
we've
like to
changed
be
some
a
names.
villain.
You'd like to be a villain, huh?
Yeah, just create a Sarah villain.
An evil
That would be
Sarah.
great. Yes.
Evil mechanic.
And we've also changed some names. Like, for instance, a key location in New York is the Juju House.
Wow.
That is now Bones of Harlem in our game. Things like that we're changing.
Yeah.
Is anybody still fixing stuff?
I'm done.
A few slight adjustments still.
Okay.
I
What's your
believe
new-
I'm complete.
What's your new numbers, Daniel?
Oh, well, I upped my dodge from 40 to 50. I went from fast talk 65 to 70. Bumped up my rifle shotgun from 50 to 60, which then helped out my handgun from 20 to 30. I did away with charming because I wasn't terribly charming, and that's, Sean's character's world. So I got rid of that, and I reinvested some of those points into sleight of hand. So I went from like a 40-something% sleight of hand to a solid 50. I reduced my language skills since I don't see them using them that often, and I instead bumped up some other stuff here. Let me see. I think that's it. Pretty much just did dodge, fast talk, rifle, shotgun, and sleight of hand. That's it. Everything else is pretty solid. Spot hidden, stealth are all at 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Hazel?
I'm not as good as Eric at remembering the.
Oh, and first aid. First aid went from 41 to 51. There you go.
Oh, nice.
Very important.
Well, I upped my dodge to 45, upped my drive to 50, electrical repair I actually dropped to 30, because I just wasn't using it as much as mechanical repair, which I upped to 70. My spot hidden was upped to 71.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a mechanic. I gotta know these things. So.
All right. Perfect. Clive, did you change anything?
So, I did. I knocked down a few. Like, appraise was really high. That's down to 50. And then I took a couple of points here and there. So my spot hidden's at 76 now.
Nice, two of you. I like it.
Yeah, that's really the only major change.
Did you change your dodge at all, or are you good with the way it is?
It was fun.
Okay. And for Sydney over here.
It should be good.
Okay, I was gonna say I can start anyways. There's a lot of talky like there was for the prologue. A lot of me talky.
Cool.
So, go ahead. Tell us what you changed.
Okay. So I took the points out of things I talked about earlier. My big changes are my archaeology is now up to 70. Since that is really like at the core of the character, trying to go explore these different things. So, very much hit the books when it comes to archaeology. Killed charm, climb still in the 40s. Dodge is up to 50. Swapped handgun and shotgun. Occult. After his experiences in South America, he put a bunch of. I put 50 up into occult now, so I'll have some occult.
Sounds good. And that brings up another
Nice.
point. Who's got a lot of points in library use since Steve went with the cult? Excellent.
I do.
I like it. Continue, Sydney.
Spot hidden up to 50, just so I've got a much better chance of seeing these things. Bumped survival up a few points because I already had quite a bit in there, but I got it up to 50 as well. And then track 54. Try to
Wow.
hit that combination of out in the jungle, tracking down ruins, like that explore thing with archaeology, climbing, jumping, tracking, with a mix of some smarts, so navigating, cult.
Running,
History
jumping,
still at
climbing
50.
trees.
Yes, running, jumping, climbing trees.
He's George of the Jungle.
Putting on handsome man makeup when I'm up there. So yeah, instead of a bunch of points and things like pilot and stuff like that, I focused more on those things I talked about.
Perfect.
Hopefully.
Next thing we have to decide before we begin is, where do each of you live in America? Sydney.
Oh, that's me. Hi. Sydney is maybe born somewhere in New England, but mostly resides in most of his life
In the city or upstate or downstate?
in the city.
Hazel.
In the city.
When you're not, when you're actually doing your thing as Hazel, do you go back to England or do you stay near your boss?
Well, after that traumatic experience in Peru, she did spend some time back at home in England, but afterwards she went back to work for Sydney.
And for future reference, where in England?
Particularly London, but she'll vacation inside.
Okay, that'll be useful later on.
I
Clive.
paid you enough to vacation in the countryside?
You're not you're not her only client.
What?
Well, and
She has a
income from
The gold.
Hmm.
She's mentioned once or
Well,
twice a couple of her other clients. She just tosses the name out. Ford. You know.
I have no knowledge of who that is.
Clive.
My
Who's your newspaper?
Clive actually,
Is it the big one?
no, he actually resides in Arkham.
Okay, so you do not work for the NYT. Got it.
No,
So you're not that far though. Massachusetts, few
Right.
hours drive. Train, I should say, 20s. And Dan, where has the hobo been spending his time for 4 years besides his buddy's asylum?
Probably on the streets of Boston, where he was raised.
Also not terribly far. Good. The reason it matters is you've all been guided to New York City by your good friend Jackson Elias, who has told you that he has information about the lost Carlisle expedition and needs a reliable team to research it further. You are all going to the Big Apple to receive a call from your friend and to meet up with him to discuss his frantic telegram. You are expected to be there, and he's scheduled to meet with you on January 15th, 1925. It will be winter. You all arrive slightly early if you want to do something in advance. None of you are far enough away for it to matter. As for that
bring my good
frantic, fateful telegram.
I go straight to Elias's house and hang out with him 100% of the time to make sure nothing bad happens to him.
You said it's
He
very
doesn't.
cryptic?
He's not at a house. The man does not keep a permanent residence.
Right.
Which you don't know where he's staying until you get the phone call.
It's a shame.
And the fateful telegram.
You said this was in 1925?
You will be arriving and beginning on January 15th, 1925. This is the telegram. I'll leave it up for a second, and then we're going to have a refresher that I'm going to ask Clive to read. I made Dan do it last time. Not a lot to that telegram.
Huh.
Huh.
Don't like that.
Wow.
I see.
Everyone else was haunting. I thought I'd haunt too.
Have what? What?
Please read that to us, Clive.
Oh, I gotta read the big one.
Yes.
Whoa.
Big one.
This is a refresher for us and for the people watching about what you know about your friend Jackson Elias.
You remember Jackson Elias as an African-American man of middle height build. He has a feisty, friendly air about him. As an orphan in Stratford, Connecticut, he learned to make his own way early in life. He has no living relatives and no permanent address. You like him and value his friendship, even though months and sometimes years separate one meeting from the next. You'd be upset and probably crave vengeance if anything happened to your friends.
Everything is fine. Continue.
Wow. Wow.
Well,
what
Am I
a setup
supposed
that
to read
is.
This seems very... Yeah.
Come
The
on.
world is a better place for having Jackson Elias in it. Elias speaks several languages fluently and is constantly traveling. He is social, enjoys an occasional drink, and smokes a pipe. A tough, stable, and punctual man, Elias isn't afraid of brawls or officials. He is mostly self-educated. Once a skeptic, Elias began to question his stance after the events he witnessed in the mountains of Peru, next to Lake Titicaca. Although in most cases, he has failed to find proof of supernatural powers, magic, or dark gods. His well-researched works always seem to reflect first-hand experience. Possibly his greatest flaw is that he's secretive and never discusses a project until he has a final draft in hand. That sounds ominous. His
Fine.
writings characterize... What?
Everything's fine. Continue.
Yeah, everything's fine. His writings characterize and analyze death cults. His best-known book is Sons of Death, exposing modern-day thuggee cults in India. All of his books illustrate how cults manipulate the fears of their followers. Insanity and feelings of inadequacy characterize death cultists, feelings for which they compensate by slaughtering innocents to make themselves feel powerful or chosen. Cool. Cults draw the weak-minded, though cult leaders are usually clever and manipulative. When fear of a cult stops, the cult vanishes. Elias's published works include Skulls Along the River, 1910, exposes the headhunter cults in the Amazon basin. This is not going to get better. Masters of the Black Arts, 1912, surveys supposed sorcerers cults throughout history. The Way of Terror, 1913, analyzes systemization of fear through cult organization, warmly reviewed by George Sorrell. The Smoking Heart, 1915. First half discusses historical Mayan death cults, the second half concerns present-day Central American death cults. Sons of Death, 1918. Modern-day thuggies. Elias infiltrated the cult and wrote a book about it. Witch Cults of England, 1920. Summarizes covens in 9 English counties, interviews practicing English witches. Rebecca West thought of some of the material trivial and overworked. The Black Power, 1921, expands upon the Way of Terror and includes some material on Asian and African death cults, includes interviews with several anonymous cult leaders. That's not what I thought that book was going to be. The Hungry Death, 1923, exposes the modern-day survival of a Peruvian and Bolivian death cult from the time of conquistadors. That sounds familiar. It omits many of the weirder details that those who accompanied Elias on his researches may remember, presenting the cult of the Karishiri as purely human evil. All of these books are published by Prospero House of New York City and were edited by owner-editor Jonah Kensington. Kensington is a good friend of Jackson Elias, and some of you may have already previously met.
You arrive to meet up with Sydney 2 days before the 15th. Is there anything you'd like to do besides try to find your friend ahead of time who's apparently hidden himself away well? Or you just want to hang out with Sydney and have fancy expensive food on his dime?
Yeah, that.
That sounds dope.
Sydney,
Yes.
you maintain
It's kind of boring.
you maintain a permanent penthouse in the creme de la creme of New York City, because of course you do.
Of
At the
course.
famed Waldorf Astoria, which in this time is where all the riches live. It was real sexy at that point.
You know, everybody, you should all consider moving to New York. It's got some of the most happening happenings in the world today. I hear that soon the population will eclipse that of London. Yes.
You
We're
see,
going to the
London.
Waldorf.
you see those arched windows on the top there? There's like 3 and then 3 on the other corner.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's your corner penthouse. 3
It's very
floors of
nice.
it.
It's very nice.
It's good to be
Oh
rich.
my!
We'll soon be having a gridiron football team here in this city. I believe it might be quite gigantic.
Okay.
1925 is the year the New York Giants were formed.
I like that Steve got into the time period.
I did. 1925 is also the year New York overtook London as the largest populous city.
He's actually
Thank you,
saving me.
Wikipedia.
He's saving
You're
me
welcome.
some stuff I was gonna read.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
I'm good with it. You can talk more than me. Arriving in New York. Air travel is out of the reach of all of you except Sydney. Rail is the way you get around. There is a highway, the one that goes from California and terminates in Times Square, which has recently been renamed because the New York Times moved their headquarters there. That's the Lincoln Highway, the only transcontinental railroad. Rail is the most common method, though. I'm going to throw up a map so that you can look at it while I talk. Greater New York in 1925. It is just so, as most of you probably know, there's 5 boroughs of New York, and it was recently in your time period, only a few decades since it was consolidated into Greater New York in the late 1800s, almost the turn of the century. Before that, each borough was its own city. Located about halfway between Boston and the capital, it's got a brief but colorful history. We'll skip a lot of it. Suffice to say, it's been around since the 1600s as a city, but it's only recently become the greatest hub of the Western Hemisphere. So, having formerly consisted largely of Dutch and British immigrants as well as freed slaves, the city's population swelled during the mid-1800s, thanks to waves of new arrivals from Germany and Ireland, who together made up more than half of the city's inhabitants by the 1860s. They were followed by those fleeing Italy and Eastern Europe, mostly Russian and Polish Jews. All came looking for a brighter future and to escape poverty and persecution in their homelands. More than 12 million immigrants passed through Ellis Island between 1892 and 1924 when the center closed, by which time a little more than 40% of New York's inhabitants were foreign-born. As a result, national quotas for immigration were instituted, although large numbers of black Caribbean citizens took advantage of the British quota to make New York their home. They joined with those who traveled to the city during the Great Migration, the relocation of African Americans from the South that began during the Great War, to become part of the thriving community centered around Harlem. Most of the city's buildings are brick and stone after the Great Fire in 1835. The type of building in a neighborhood may tell you something about the relative affluence of the area in which it is found. Good areas tend to consist of brownstones, 4-story townhouses accessed by a steep staircase called a stoop, or in poorer areas, crowded decaying tenement buildings known as walk-ups. The skyline that you're all used to did not exist back then, because in your time period, the tallest building in the city was not even there yet. It's not even going to begin construction until this year. The Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building were not completed until the 30s. The groundbreaking ceremony for the Chrysler Building happens in 28 and the Empire State Building in 1930. Only the Woolworth Building is easily recognizable. It held the record for the world's tallest building for 17 years until Chrysler was completed. Other famous landmarks, remember they don't exist, such as Rockefeller Center and Radio City Music Hall, all of that is the 30s. Should it come up while you're exploring? This is the skyline that you probably would see at this time period. Still a city, just not the one we're used to in the modern age.
Sure.
Wow.
of the 5 boroughs, probably don't need to talk about them a lot. Long Island at this time isn't even really called Long Island. It's still mostly called its old name.
Rockaway?
Yes, thank you.
Rockaway Beach.
What was it?
Rockaway Beach. Manhattan Island, of course, is the financial hub where Wall Street is. And Staten Island, which is mostly referred to as Richmond all the way till the 70s. So you would know it as Richmond. And then the East River separates the Bronx from Manhattan. The Bronx and Manhattan from Long Island, while the Harlem River separates the Bronx from most of Manhattan. The weather, thanks to its location, New York tends to suffer from hot, humid summers and chilly, damp, windy winters. I probably shouldn't skip letting you know that in the 1920s, New York City is a hive of gang activity during the Prohibition era. It's also the location of the Bronx Zoo and Yankee Stadium, home of the New York Yankees baseball team since 1923. 2 whole years.
Everyone's a Yankee to Hazel.
That's correct. In July, temperatures average out around 77 Fahrenheit, and in January they're usually between 32 and 10. The weather in 25 was especially unpleasant and therefore is for you. On January 2nd, the city is brought to a standstill by a 2-day snowstorm, followed by a fresh storm on January 12th. The 12th storm on the 12th, that was yesterday, brought enough snow to shut down most transportation into and around the city. Even the ferry travel was disrupted by the ice.
Wow.
Thousands of workers were drafted by the city to shovel the snow and restore order, but it's a slow process and everything is still slowed down. As you begin, snow will still be piled high on the sides of the streets and regular flurries make it worse. So I will be adding snow complications, howling winds, and bad temperatures often. It was a bad year, lucky you. Another 2 serious blizzards historically hit the city on January 20th and 27th, so be prepared. Moving around in New York, the elevated railway is the most common way to transport. However, the subway also exists now, but not as big as it is in our time period. Where it connects, though, people use it a lot, because it's open 24 hours a day, whereas the L has hours. They're not all the way around the clock. There are also buses and trolley cars, but most of the motor buses are only available in Queens and Richmond. Trolley cars would be in other places, the electric kind like you see in San Francisco on a rail. The New York Yellow Cab Company began work in 1907. However, in 1925, it cost money. So Bill Sidney, it's not cheap. Even worse than now.
I'm
You
not
should
made of money.
I will, however, tell the investigators you should be wary, because the medallion system did not happen until 1937, meaning they can set their rates, and there are unscrupulous and scalpy taxi people all over the place. Fares start at 15 cents a mile. You can also hire cars directly. There are ferries, and of course trains. 2 main places you would be told to stay if you weren't staying with Sydney would be the Waldorf with people with money, or the Hotel Chelsea for those without money who like the sound of Tommy gun fire. Moving on! Lots of other places too, should it come up. When it comes to time to conduct research, New York has an embarrassment of riches. Newspapers, universities, libraries, and museums. Let's hit a couple. New York Times exists here now. Wall Street Journal is headquartered here. New York Post is headquartered here. La Prensa is located here. And the Amsterdam News, one of only 50 African-American owned newspapers, is located in Harlem. The New York Public Library, second largest in America after only the Library of Congress, is here. The Hall of Records at the courthouse, the Bew Arts Building, and King's College, which is now Columbia University. And a very short drive away, you have such prestigious places as Harvard, Yale, and Miskatonic University, a few hours from here. So if you can't find the information you're looking for, you probably suck at looking up books.
What about the Museum of Natural History? That around
It
at
does
this
in
time,
fact
or no?
exist, yes. Not for researching books, but yes. Experts can be found there, absolutely. And dinosaur bones.
Dinosaurs. Clearly a hoax.
Fat sucking vampires, totally real. Dinosaurs?
Just a little unbelievable. Giant lizards. Lizards. No, never mind.
They never are
I'm
more
gonna-
than.
Throw up Jackson's face for you all. You can stare at your good friend Jackson Elias, who is perfectly fine. Are we ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You're all sitting around.
Just want to
Yes.
tell everybody when the spring comes and the Yankees are playing, we'll all go catch a game at that stadium. We'll definitely beat the Washington Senators this year.
I want to see a talkie. I don't know about you guys.
Why?
You
Acting
think-
is
Are you?
acting is physical, not with words, but with body motion. Talkies won't last.
Are you still a hobo, Eric?
She is. Why would he change?
I brought my good jacket and a hat this time. This is Poland. Has to.
Do you have a residence?
You mean like a house? I know I used to have a house. But I don't live there now.
Okay. You're all at Sydney's penthouse at the time that you're supposed to be getting the phone call. Sydney. We're just gonna let Sydney die for a minute here.
Oh my god, you broke Sydney.
My apologies.
That's gold there.
They told Sydney that at some point in the future, there might be a social system where, like, you know, it takes care of people. You can't afford things.
Okay.
We have a perfectly adequate social system now. Make money and you'll do well.
Wait. You're saying nothing has changed? Oh, moving on.
Oh,
Okay. I'll edit that.
Sorry.
gotta find my bootstraps.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on.
It was too much. I had to say it.
I'm too poor to afford bootstraps.
Oh.
Okay. So. The phone rings. This is your house, Sydney.
I assume my butler will answer for me.
Hello?
Sir, it's Mr. Elias. He sounds anxious.
Ah, thank you very much. I will take it.
Giant ass brass phone. Pinky extended while you hold it up. Sydney, is that you?
Yes,
Oh,
Mr.
thank God.
Elias.
Hotel Chelsea,
are
room
you-
410. Meet me at 8.
Are you okay, Mr. Elias? You sound hectic.
I'm fine. Everything is fine. Just make sure you get here at 8. It's important. You have no idea how important it is. That thing with the
That's-
vampires? Peanuts.
Mm,
8 o'clock, Sydney.
You-
Bring them all.
You've got me very concerned, Mr. Elias.
Sydney, 8 o'clock. Wait, hold on. I gotta go. Click.
Odd.
Yes, this is very odd knowing the behavior of Jackson Elias. This is extremely out of character.
This is very out of character for him. He's usually pretty.
He's a level-headed fellow. Even
Yeah,
when he
I will
shot
walk-
vampires.
I'll walk over to everybody and I just got a very disturbing call from Mr. Elias. Oh, I'm sorry, a very disturbing telephoning?
Telephoning.
I don't know what the phrase
Coined.
He sent us all a telegram, right? You got one too?
No, he called the telephone line.
Oh, fancy. Okay.
Yes.
What's going on?
Fancy.
It's like a telegram but with spoken words.
It's a talkie. I keep telling you, I want to see a talkie. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Lombardi. No, but Mr. Elias, he just rang in order to tell us to meet him at the Chelsea Hotel at 8 p.m. But he sounded unlike himself. Very hectic, speaking fast. He seemed afraid, and adamant of our arrival at 8.
Well, let me check my new watch.
It's 6. Dan, your watch is fancy, but you forgot to wind it.
Conquistador brand. It's very interesting. I've never seen that before.
Miss Hazel, do you fix watches too, or just automobiles?
That's a good question. Do I fix watches?
You look at his watch and you're like, he just didn't wind it. Just because you know how watches work.
I grab his watch and I just like hold it and I turn around
Doing a magic
and I
trick.
fiddle with it and then I hand it back to him. I fixed it. Here you are.
You're a genius.
Why, thank you. Perhaps we should go see him a little early.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We should.
Go see Mr. Elias.
I agree,
Long
Mr.
time.
Murphy.
How would you like to get yourself to the Hotel Chelsea? It's in Manhattan.
Subway.
Whereas I believe the Astoria is in. No, you're in Manhattan, but you're on the other side of the Manhattan. Of Manhattan.
The Manhattan.
Of the Manhattan.
I mean,
You don't need directions. You know of it. It's a 12-story red brick edifice with a great staircase you really liked.
Can we
Nah.
take the elevated
I'm on a
train? Subway?
Miss
Yes,
Murphy,
you can take the L. The L is open until 9 or 10.
Oh, okay.
I would
Yeah,
ask
take
you
the
to
L.
I would ask you to drive us, Miss Murphy, so that the automobile. I'm not sure to take it to the Chelsea.
Roads are shit right now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the snow, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, right, it's very snowy. That's right. Yes. Perhaps I can try out one of these public transportations.
You take the L.
Sydney, you never cease to amaze me.
In 1925, the L is kind of a pleasant experience, Steve. There's no graffiti. There's no kids with jukeboxes. It's not 1979 in New York City.
I was gonna say, there's no jukeboxes in 1925. What is this? This is
Hell on
clearly.
earth.
I support kids with jukeboxes, by the way. Play your music as loud as you want.
The Hotel Chelsea has a significant number of long-term guests and is popular with artists, writers, and musicians, lending it a
Magicians?
bohemian reputation. Unlike many of the hotels of the time, this one caters to African American guests. It's a very enlightened place and welcomes all within its doors. This is probably why your friend is staying here.
All right.
Interesting.
You arrive at the Chelsea at 7, because the L does still take time.
Okay.
And you're standing in front of the doors outside going, damn, it's windy.
I hold onto my hat.
Your hat is very, very sexy.
Yeah,
Because it's 1925 and they made the best fedoras then.
right.
Mr. Lombardi, might I
bought the
suggest you
sexiest
off
hat.
as tight as possible? I assume it is your only one?
I brought my good coat.
Good go.
One without the holes.
And your hat.
His good
Hold
coat.
on to
my hat, my little-
His good coat is a
Little-
solid black 1925 Navy Edition pea coat. So it actually, like, you know what a gumshoe would wear? It looks like that, with the big buttons and the big collar, and it goes down to your knees. And it's
Alright.
it's made out of like 6 inches of canvas.
A very stylish.
You could stab him and it
Daniel.
would probably break the knife.
He
Weighs like 20
Do we know-
pounds.
Do we know where which room Sydney's in? Like, do we know?
did tell me.
Jackson is in
however,
room 410.
Oh,
Yes.
should we just go knock on the door?
He did adamantly say 8. Maybe perhaps we should approach cautiously?
However, he did sound rather urgent, you said?
Yeah, let's go see him now.
Adamant
Yeah.
in regard to our arrival at the time. Again, his demeanor seemed off.
Damn it, Sydney, stop being a prude. Let's go.
However, he is our friend, so perhaps he wouldn't mind seeing us a bit early. However, also, perhaps it was just to make sure we aren't late.
Perhaps.
Better be early than night. what I always say.
Perhaps you're correct. Let us go check on our friend. So we'll just go to his room and knock on the door.
Okay, you walk
Go.
in, and the bellhop says, "How can we help you, gentlemen and lady?" He's kind of a big guy.
What did you said? Room 408,
10.
401.
410.
401,
10. 410.
410,
Yes.
Oh,
410.
410.
We're going to room 410. You should bring up your finest whiskeys, put it on this guy's tab,
I
and
see. So you're here to see Mr. Elias.
yeah, totally.
Which
Yes.
brand? Which brand of illegal whiskey would you like, sir? Arched eyebrow.
Shit, it's the 20s.
He's going like this. He's like, "Which brand, sir?"
Is that a bad choice?
You realize this means pay the man. He can make that happen.
Oh.
There's no wrong answer here.
Rockwell, hey the man, come on. We're about to go see a good old friend, and you're being cheap. Why are you
says-
always being cheap.
He
You haven't
says-
seen him in like 2 years.
He says, "For $5, I can guarantee you the finest in prohibited drinks."
$5. What's $5?
Mr. Caldwell, I would appreciate it if you did not insinuate my participation in illicit activities.
I see. Yes, sir. $5 gets you the 5-course banquet room service meal.
See, that sounds quite lovely.
Do you give the man a $5?
I will give the man a 5. A
Right.
sawbuck.
He takes the sawbuck and disappears. The grand staircase, which is awesome, it's one of those ones that goes like this, and it's all curvy and like marble and shit, like the Titanic.
Really fancy.
Yeah.
Wow.
This hotel is.
Yeah,
known
we're
for
not
that.
sinking.
Everything's fine. You go up the stairs.
Nothing bad is about to happen.
You get a good glute workout walking up 4 stories of stairs.
It's nothing back then. It's good. It's all
It's
good.
true. You arrive on the 4th floor. Room 401 is to your right. There is a hallway.
410.
410 is your goal, yes. 401 is to your right. Take over from here.
Why would we care about 4-1?
Because you're taking over from the arrival on the floor.
I believe Tyler's trying to confuse us and make us go in where
To the wrong room.
Tyler
Where
is
the
subtly telling
hockey-
you, "I'm not dumping you in the room. You begin on the floor."
I start making my way
Um,
down there, you know.
Yeah, like, we just make our way to 410, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Start
walk
taking
up
my
to the
hat
door.
off.
You walk up to the door with your typical bickering and nonsense commentary. You're standing in front of 410 now.
Donk, 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 donk. Yo, Jax! The blast from the past!
No
Check
answer?
the handle.
No answer.
Yeah.
Silence.
Check the door.
Oh,
Yo,
lock.
Jax!
It is locked.
Oh, jeez. Could somebody ring him upstairs?
I mean,
Fell asleep? I don't know.
hey, Dan, do your thing. Just do your thing.
What?
Mr. Caldwell, might I suggest before Mr. Lombardi does his thing, maybe you could go speak to the desk clerk and perhaps see if Mr. Elias has vacated momentarily.
Well, they wouldn't have let us. I'm sure they would have noticed them looking out, right? So they wouldn't have let us
Right
up there if
here.
we weren't here.
Put my ear to the door. Hello?
Listen, check.
Listen.
Everybody or
Only
Ah.
Daniel, because he said he put his ear to the door. However, you see him doing that, and can follow suit.
Or should I push the roll?
No, I mean, if he's gonna
Yeah,
let
what's the worst that can happen on a list? Right?
I go
he
tap.
gets an ear infection and
one of
can't hear
those,
for the week.
I was gonna say one of those worms from South America's
Oh,
you
Jesus.
eyes, and it flings through the door into your ear.
What about Hazel and Sydney?
Sydney
Yeah, I'm
will
gonna
not-
give it a shot.
Okay.
Sydney will not attempt to listen.
Hazel,
Hey, wow.
on a hard success, you hear strange noises. It almost sounds like a window in a fire escape clanging. And maybe whispering.
whispering?
It's very faint. You only heard it because you got a hard success.
I relay this to the rest of the party, and Hazel suggests that someone goes to, at least two of us goes to the fire escape to see who's trying to get
If you
away.
try to go all the way downstairs and someone is, it's time for action if you think someone's doing something.
That's true.
Is
Can
there
I
an
just strike
exterior?
the door open?
What'd you say, Clive?
Can I just strike the door open?
You can, in fact, kick the shit out of the door.
I will help
God.
him do that.
Strength rolls for both of you.
Holy fuck.
Does anyone want to attempt lock?
Too late! Daniel!
Door
Do
is
it!
open. I'm through the door.
Daniel, remember that thing about stacking numbers to beat the threshold.
Jesus Christ.
Hazel and Sydney.
While they're doing that,
Go around. Maybe 401.
Miss Murphy, perhaps we should find an exterior window, and I would try to find a window in one of these hallways that might lead to the same exterior wall that this room does, so that we can look out and see if someone's escaping from the fire.
So the room is here. The windows are
Yep.
over here and over here. They're not on the same wall. That wall is only rooms. That's why I said if you ran downstairs, you'd never make it, because it's on the back of the building.
Okay.
I'll push the roll to help him
Do it!
knock down the door.
Is
There it is.
Yeah.
exterior.
There it is!
damn.
You guys kick that door, and it splinters the lock, and it flies inside. And
Are we armed? We got our stuff on us?
Carry
Yeah.
a shotgun through the city. Oh
What?
my
I got a
god!
big enough coat. Oh my god. Oh my god. What am I walking into? Shock.
he's
And
been murdered.
horror.
They're escaping out the window.
Shotgun out.
How many are there in the room?
Told you I knew I should have brought my big coat.
There are two of them in the room. An Italian guy and an African American gentleman.
They're both dying.
The strange thing is, they're wearing shabby suits and have a weird headpiece on, which is a strip of red flannel and like flopping in the front. It's really weird. With like, it almost looks like a mouth is the part, is the hat part.
Oh, that's weird.
What?
Like a giant red tongue made out of cheap
you
ass
said-
felt.
God.
Elias is
I'm-
laying on the bed. He has been disemboweled.
That's
What?
gross.
Can I throw a wrench at the closest one?
We can stack up initiative.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
This
Ooh.
is actually a chase scene with fighting thrown in.
Let's do it.
Oops.
Oh, we roll initiatives? I forget.
No, I
No.
do it. You can discuss what you want your strategy to be while I make this thing work.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
I'm gonna rush the nearest dude.
so I think I want to maybe try to bust in the door next to this room and get out of the way, because I can't go through this room. It seems like that's a good way to get shot. So if I can go through the room next to them and get out of the window onto the fire escape, I can cut off anyone trying to go out of the window. Either by shooting, because if there's a fire escape going this way and another fire escape going this way, I can either follow them down or shoot at them as their fire escape.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Clive, what's your dex?
What is my deck?
And then make a dexterity check also. Or, I'm sorry, your speed. What's your speed? And then make a dexterity check.
Where was speed again? Combat?
It'll be
Movement rate.
Movement?
My movement rate is 8.
Okay,
Jesus.
make the check and let me know if you succeed or fail.
A dexterity check?
Yes.
I fail. Of course I do. Because this system's terrible.
Sydney.
Says the man who succeeds the most.
Sydney.
My movement rate is 8, and I had a hard success.
Nice. Hazel.
Hey.
Eep. Where's my movement?
Combat tab.
Aha, 7. And then I roll Dexius?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you succeed?
I did.
Daniel.
Movement 7 also.
Okay.
I'll make that dex save right now. Yes, hard success. I got it.
Alright.
Sorry, did I say 8? I also have a 7 movement.
No, you said 7.
Okay.
You were like, I also have a 7.
Okay.
No Tucci.
Scroll down so I can see what I'm doing. The Italian-looking guy goes out the window onto the fire escape. Sydney, you exit the room and go to the other door, which is locked.
Yeah, fuck it. I ain't fucking around. I'm going to... Do we have our weapons on us?
The shotgun, probably not, because you're walking around in New York City. Handguns, yes.
Okay.
Oh, even in my good coat.
Okay, then if that is the case,
You have a 38 though, Hobo Dan, because you come prepared these days. Sorry.
Damn
Sydney,
right.
go ahead.
Okay, so I will pull out one of the pistols I keep on me now,
Yes.
and again, not fucking around. I will just shoot the handle and lock on the door next to where he is, and then kick it in.
You shoot the handle off the door and kick it in and go through it. You head your way towards the window. Daniel.
Yes.
People inside go, ah! And dive in the bathroom.
Wait, what?
Dive into the bathroom?
The people in the room
People
I'm
in the
shooting.
room he just blasted his way
Oh.
into.
Yeah, the civilians I just...
It's some
Shot.
it's some balding fat white guy and a very scantily clad, obviously streetwalking chick.
Oh wow. Okay, well, since I don't have my shotty with me, I'm gonna charge the nearest guy with a knife. Like, oh, I'm gonna give you some of my. Let me show you what we do to guys like you in Boston, huh?
Okay. Do it. Make your attack roll, because he hasn't had time to run yet, the other guy.
Throttle his ass.
Now,
Fucking
are you
A.
trying
I'm
to
gonna
murder
push
him
that
or-
roll.
Are you trying to murder
I'm
him or
gonna-
subdue him?
I'm gonna try to subdue him as
Okay.
much as possible with my fists. I'm gonna push that damn roll and I'm
Look,
gonna beat his ass.
You and your push rolls, look at that.
That's awesome.
Okay, roll damage.
Alright, so let's see.
From a critical failure to a hard success.
D4. Is it
That's amazing.
is it a D3
Holy
plus
crap.
D4?
It's a D3 plus your your damage bonus, which will be on your combat, yeah.
Yeah, alright.
What's your damage?
4 damage total.
4 damage.
You're too good at that voice.
This guy, this guy has a lot of hit points.
I'm sure he does.
In other words, I said that wrong, I apologize. This guy is large and thickly built. He takes it right to the face. Blood flies
Large
out.
and thickly built.
Hazel.
I probably wouldn't have a crowbar on me, but I'd probably have
You
a
have a
wrench
wrench.
in my jacket.
Yes.
Yes, I want to bash the closest one with my wrench.
Bludgeoning.
Clonk.
No! Ah!
Push it
no.
or take it.
Well, if Dan can do. No.
Dan had a 70% chance to hit.
That's true. I'm gonna give it a
Fortune-
try.
Fortune favors the bold.
It does.
Oh!
Yes.
Roll damage.
That person explodes.
Your damage is 1d6 plus your damage bonus.
Hey,
Oh,
you gotta turn that guy into chunky salsa.
1d6 plus. What was it?
Damage bonus if you have one. It'll be in the attack, the combat tab. Are you trying to kill this guy or knock him out also?
I want to knock him out.
Okay.
Let's see. Wrench or crowbar does 1d6, 1d4 plus 1 damage.
Okay, do that.
Wow. Holy cow.
And he attempted to use his dodge roll on you, but you rolled an extreme
No!
success. But you rolled an extreme success, so he auto fails.
Nice.
And I auto succeed because, mechanic.
He
Clonk.
turns and tries to run for the window. he is not very awake though, and he's stumbly, and he might just fall out and die. He might even hit the wall instead. Clive,
I
can
want to
act
shoulder
first.
check that dude
Okay.
into.
Your shoulder check it.
roll it. Just roll.
Wham!
I'm
You
sensing a
gotta push it.
concussion in his future.
I'd push it or take the luck points. If it was me.
Shoot, I can't push from this.
FYI, you're gonna get 2 luck rolls at the end of this session because we didn't do it at the end of the last one, so
Ah, luck, right.
because I failed.
I guess I can just. Yes.
There it
okay.
is.
Push roll success.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we'll take your
yeah.
original damage roll. You shoulder check him, his face bounces off the wall, and he hits the ground out cold.
Nice.
Take that, you bloody bastard!
You look down into the snow and you see the other guy disappearing into the winter wind. You could give chase, or you could try to check the room out before the cops arrive.
Shit.
I vote check the room out.
Also, I'm not saying you should run before the cops arrive. It's probably unwise. You should probably give a statement. But this is your chance to look around before they do what they do.
I want to take a pic. You may want to take a photo of that, of what's in here
So
live.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm in a different room than them, and I don't know how that fight is going.
This is correct.
So I look out the window, I see one of them going down the fire escape, and I give chase.
Oh god.
Pop him, slow him down.
Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney.
Yes.
The snow is slowing you both down. What would you like to do? The roads are treacherous and slippery. He is slightly ahead of you. All in, move carefully, or attack or something instead.
Pew pew.
I'll try to close the distance.
Okay. He goes all in. And hits a patch of ice and goes flying. You catch up. What do you do?
Oh.
That was a great noise.
Oh yeah. I want to.
180 degrees.
Oh no, I didn't actually think through what to do if I caught this guy. I don't know if I could just
Pistol whip him.
shoot it. I was gonna say, yeah, can I pistol whip him?
You could, yes. You gotta do
Okay.
some kind of attack to take him down.
Yeah. Actually. Yeah, I'll pistol whip him. This is gonna go very badly. Yes. Oof.
Oh my goodness.
Oof. Oof.
You gonna take it, or do you want to do something with it?
You know. Let's do it.
All in.
I come in to try to Eric's face. Like, don't do
It'll be fine. It's fine. We're all
Fine.
fine.
So I come in and I try to pistol whip, because he, like, you said he slipped and, like, fell on ice. So I try to like come up on top of him and like bring the gun down on like his head, and he like rolls and I miss. So now I'm trying to like backhand him across the face.
Okay.
With the push roll.
Wow.
You guys and your ridiculous.
You take him out. He is unconscious.
Crack.
That's a sign that the rest of this like story arc right here is gonna go very poorly.
Very bad. So I basically dislocate this guy's jaw, right?
I thought you were gonna say you dislocated his face.
His face, his whole face.
Look at his consciousness. You did it. Shit.
So what's wrong with that guy? He just dislocated his face.
Hey, it's New York.
Hey, what you gonna do about it, huh? Hey,
Steve, you hear the familiar whistle. You gonna rifle this guy real fast before they get here?
Yes.
Spot hidden. For this is for Sydney at the moment.
Shit.
I will spend the luck points. So that's gonna be 11.
Is it still initiative?
No.
Oh.
Okay, so hold on, I want to fix that background noise a little bit. There we go. Okay. Steve, you find 3 pieces of information.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, this is this guy. You find 1 piece of information.
Okay. One piece.
Yeah, I have to make sure I get you the right one.
But it's the one good piece of information.
Right.
We can all see that.
Yes.
Okay. Wasn't sure if you knew that.
Group clues.
Tonight only, the Cult of Darkness in Polynesia and the Southwest Pacific. A 2-hour lecture and slides delivered by Professor Anthony Cowes, PhD, the University of Sydney, Australia, presently Locksley Fellow of Polynesian Esoterica at Miskatonic University, Arkham. Schuyler Hall, New University, 8 p.m. tonight only.
That's covered in blood. He took that from the room. He took that from Jackson.
Alright, I pocket that.
Those of you in the room, spot hiddens for those rifling the room, and a separate spot hidden. So 2 of you roll for the room, and 1 of you roll for the guy. Decide who's doing which, and then tell me.
I'm checking the room.
Okay.
I'll check the guy.
Okay, Hazel, you're the room.
Sounds good.
Got it.
Did that
Okay.
roll? Okay. Hard success.
Clive.
Yeah.
So Clive was the body. So Clive,
Good rolls.
this guy has 3 pieces of information on him. We will go one at a time.
Okay.
All of these obviously were stolen from the room. It looks to you like they were still in here taking things after they committed the murder, which is why they were still here. They heard you knock and were trying to escape. Please read this for the group. Clive.
Dear Mr. Carlisle, your lawyer informed me that you seek certain knowledge of the land's distant past, and I believe I can aid you in this. Inquiries in Old Quarter have identified one Faraz Nagar?
Best guess is what you should be doing. It's on purpose.
Najar in the Street of Jackal, who claims to be in possession of singular curios, which he believes will be of great interest to you. He is prepared to part with these items if suitable price can be agreed upon, and I shall endeavor to make sure that matters are arranged to your satisfaction. Yours, M. Warren Desart.
And what's the post on the upper right?
Cairo, Egypt, 3rd March 1919.
He also had this.
6 years ago.
A business card. The Penhew
Foundation.
35 Tottenham Court
Tottenham.
Road, London. Edward Gavigan, director.
Cool. Okay.
And one more that I'll have you read. Well, I mean, you don't need to read. Oops. He had a matchbox.
Matchbox.
From the Stumbling Tiger Bar on 10 Lantern Street, Shanghai. Fun and friends.
Fun and friends. Okay, cool.
It's a matchbook from China.
China's very far away.
Alright.
Do I have time to like take really quick photographs of the room?
Yes, give me 3 rolls. Daniel and Hazel. Each of you find there's 3 things. I'll just put them up. Doesn't matter who finds which.
I succeeded at all 3.
A picture of what looks like Chinese boats, or Asian boats at any rate. There's a word for what they are. Junks. That's what they're called.
Junks.
Of a specific boat. Looks like you can't make the name out with that picture. Just DAR on the corner. Steamer. By the way, once I make these public to you, you can always see them to refer to them later.
Oh, okay. I was just like scribbling down notes.
Same.
A business card for here in town.
Emerson Imp.
With his signature on the back, Silas N. Kwane. Oh wait, no, that's all one word. Silas Nkwane.
Huh.
And yeah, if you click the button where you get your character sheet, you should see the handouts that I share with you in there. They should start showing up as a massive list.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, show this. Harvard University, November 7th, 1924, a few months ago. To Mr. Elias, the book about which you inquired is no longer in our collection. The information you seek may be found here in other volumes. If you will contact me upon arrival, I will be most happy to further assist you. As always, Miriam Atwright.
From a book?
You have time to read and pocket. Let me make sure that's all of them. Hold on.
It's a lot.
Oh, nope. One more thing. You look at the body, and you see not only has he been eviscerated with some kind of strange knife, which, by the way, both unconscious fellows are carrying. It's kind of like a machete,
I'd like to take one.
It's kind of like a machete, but hooked.
Hmm.
Okay, you take it and pocket it before the cops arrive. They carved
Wait,
something.
you said
They carved something into Jackson's head.
Oh no.
It's like the spiral design?
It is very reminiscent of the spiral design you saw in Peru around Larkin. And you also recall Larkin's tattoo was of a tongue.
Right, the tongue had like a spiral thing on his
Yep.
torso. Yeah.
Tongue hats, spiral carvings.
You may want to get a picture of that.
Yeah, so this
Why?
is the picture he takes. You don't have to roll for this one, because it's considered evidence. So this is Sean's picture here.
Oh, this is what they carve in his forehead?
Yeah, it's carved into his head. Those are eyebrows at the bottom of the thing.
Yeah. Huh.
And that is when the police arrive, charging through the door, telling nobody to move. We'll have questions for all of you. Sydney, what do you do? You're outside with an unconscious guy.
And the police are coming, like sirens blazing, all of that good stuff?
That's correct.
Okay. Then I will do the ending to LA Confidential. And not the shootout part, but the holding, like, you know, very obviously, like, hands up, like, making myself aware. I'll have the gun, I'll put my gun on the ground and wait for them to come to me.
People in the hotel room. You can hear sirens in the distance.
I go stand out in the hallway.
Okay.
I'll join him.
You guys are gonna stick around? Oh man, jeebs.
We have to
Why?
tell them what actually happened.
You afraid
We
of
have
the
to.
cops?
This isn't gonna look good, guys. They're gonna ask questions. We're gonna have to provide answers. You know how the cops are in this city? Poor Jax. Jeez, what a way to go.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. But maybe the cops will help us figure things out.
I didn't even get to say goodbye.
You hear commotion in
Now,
the
there's
street. Yelling
there's
and
a guy
whistles and
knocked out
police
in there,
sirens.
right?
The three of you hear commotion in the street, yelling and whistles and police sirens.
Oh shoot, where's Sid? Is he alright? I look out the window.
Sid is currently being bum rushed by a bunch of Irishmen.
Not a good day.
Hey, Mr. Clydewell's in trouble. We gotta get down there right now.
Sydney, police car comes rolling up to you and like 4 cops come out in old-timey 20s blues, Irish as Irish can get, and they just like tackle you. And they're sitting on you, and they're yelling at you.
Hey, get off him!
Excuse me, officers. I believe this has been a misunderstanding. Please, I'm not resisting. Oh,
Just yelling from the window. That's my boss over there. You get off of him.
As they pull you off the guy that you were chasing, one of them turns him over, and he says, "Hey, isn't that Cthulhu? That's Cthulhu." And they all lose interest in you almost immediately. They just leave you sitting there handcuffed on the ground, and they swarm over the body of apparently a mobster they recognize. He's clearly unconscious, but one of them hits him upside the head with a nightstick anyways as they handcuff him.
Finest.
Excuse me. Sorry. Officers, hello. Hi, I'm still here. Hello?
Are you okay, Sid?
I would hand gesture in the affirmative, Mr. Lombardi, but unfortunately...
You talk too much! Thumbs up or thumbs down!
Holy crap. Yes. Yes.
Oh god, that's great.
Oh, is he out there babbling about again?
So, beat cops start swirling around everywhere, and when they see you yelling at them through the window, they come charging up the stairs, and they run.
Here they come,
up,
boss.
Clive, outside the room, you're standing there when you see like 3 beat cops come charging up the stairs directly for you with their beat sticks out.
As soon as they show up, I'm like, if you hit me or any of them, I'm gonna hit you back.
And there's other people.
There's
in the
been
hallway.
a murder. There's been a murder.
There's other people in the hallway by now, and since you're not in the room, they treat you like everyone else, and they're like, disperse, disperse, and they shove you out of the way.
You're gonna take care of that murder, right?
We'll take care of everything, sir. Go back to your room.
Wow.
I don't.
Perhaps we should go and be with Sydney?
Sir, you do have a room, yes?
Yeah. But we were headed down to the lobby, so we're gonna go out for dinner.
They ignore you and move past you.
Drinks. Yeah, we're going. Let's go for drinks. Intrepid team of not
You're
heroes
the only
who
one
just
not.
murdered
You're the only one
cultists.
not in the room. You're talking to yourself.
Oh.
You hear Clive. You hear Clive talking to the police, and then the door gets kicked open, and they come charging in at both of you.
Wait, what?
Hey!
No, I left the room.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
I
left
did
the
not hear
room.
you say you leave the room. You, Hazel, nobody swarms around you or anything. They're just like, "Are you all right, ma'am? There's been a crime here. It's probably not something a lady should see. You should wait in the lobby."
Oh, my friend went in the room to check on the poor man that was screaming, and then the guns fired. Can you make sure he's all right? He's a bit dirty and scruffy and has a strange accent.
You're pretty sure they completely ignored what you said because you're a lady. And then,
Double guns.
New York City cops were not super great in the 20s.
No.
And then, they come charging in the room, and they see you, Dan the hobo,
was obviously the murderer.
not wearing your finery that you actually do have, and they tackle you.
Hey! If you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back.
Hey, whoa! That's my guy in there. I told you, that's my guy.
I work for Mr. Caldwell. You better get off me, pal.
Unhand my fiance.
Oh God. Okay,
He's like,
Huh?
give me bluff rolls.
oh, I can do that all day.
That's for Clive and Hazel. For you, give me
Oh.
intimidation, Dan the hobo.
Oh, I'm definitely
Actually,
not intimidating. That's
Daniel
unfortunate.
is my boy. Can I charm them to like? Be like, look,
Oh,
that's my
this-
guy.
what
He
the
just
hell?
came in.
First, you got to bluff because you lied to them.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I did like
That was your choice.
Oh boy, what shall I roll for bluff?
What's it called?
Fast talk.
Thank you. Fast talk.
It's what I'm actually
is.
good at. not,
Oh,
not
boy.
intimidating people. Hey, I'm with Mr. Caldwell. I'm with these guys outside. Get off of me.
Okay.
I didn't kill anybody in here.
After about 10 minutes, the initial chaos settles. Sydney is dragged into the room, still in handcuffs. Escorted, not dragged. Both of the cultists that you disabled, both the African American gentleman and the Italian gentleman, promptly disappear into the depths of New York City's local precinct. Probably not going to be a good day for them. You're all herded into the room, and you are all being treated with suspicion at this point because they figured out you're lying to them. Except for Sydney. Sydney, nothing's really started to happen yet. It'll be about 45 minutes before the investigator gets here, where you can try to fix things if you want to, or just let it go and see what happens with the beat cops.
Can I try to charm him?
Yes, but before you roll, give us some actual dialogue. What you're trying to
So you
tell?
see-
What you're trying to tell McNamara, the Irish beat cop?
Can I hear them, by the way, out in the hallway saying, hey, that's my buddy in there,
McGillicuddy.
whatever.
I think we're all in the room now,
Mick.
correct?
Yeah, we're all in the
McDonald.
room.
Mac the Irishman.
Oh. Yes.
Not better? Just no.
Nope.
So,
Look,
I'll
man,
be
I'm not
like,
good
look,
at winging Irish names.
McGinnis.
So, I'll be like, so we were here to meet a friend for dinner, which is technically true. And then we came upon his murder. We broke into the room and tried to stop it. And Sydney ran downstairs, tried to stop that. But they murdered her friend, and that sucks. And that's not great. So, we actually did a service to the city and our country, really. I mean, so you should let
Roll
us
it.
go.
Roll it.
Whoa.
Nice. Anybody else?
Well, did I actually manage to hear any of of the statement that he just
You
gave
can hear
to the
everything
police?
that was said, and it's not actually a joke. In this time period, the majority of the New York police force were Irish immigrants that took over from
Right.
their wave. So they are a bunch of Irish white guys who did just arrest a couple of minorities. They are probably more inclined to believe Clive, whether he's telling the truth or not.
Well, it so happens that Daniel Lombardi is the son of Irish and Italian immigrants, so he could probably speak their language, so to speak. He'll use his fast talk to kind of like back up what he's hearing Clive out in the hallway saying about the situation. He's like, "Hey, why don't you talk to my buddy out in the hallway? He's telling the truth. We came over here, and all of a sudden these louts were in the room, and we found that our friend was dead. So we chased after him, and Mr. Caldwell stepped outside to go chase after him. You must have seen him out there, Mr. Rockwell.
Roll it.
Motherfucker. I'll push that
Wow.
shit.
Okay.
I will push
Wow.
that shit. How do you push it with this new sheet?
Oh wow, they changed that.
Roll it again?
They
Yeah.
did.
Just roll it again?
Yeah, you can just roll it again. I'm just looking to see if there's a trigger I can do to make it.
Boom,
permanent or
hard
something.
success.
There it is.
Motherfucker.
And while you're at it, can you give me the change for this 10? I take a 5 and 5 ones. No, wait, on the other hand, I got a 5, so I got to get a 5 and a 5 and 3 ones.
Say what?
You're dangerous around
Wait.
cashiers with that fast talk, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yes.
I love it.
You're messing with the wrong Boston kid right now.
Hey, look, Lombardi, Dan, my boy, come on, just this way.
I do believe I do have a... Can you roll your skill again, Eric, just so I can check?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Wait, this might not be your sheet. That's Sarah's sheet. Sarah, roll a skill for me.
A skill.
Okay.
It doesn't
Any
matter.
skill?
Yeah.
Pick a skill, any skill. I'm gonna climb the jail walls.
Nope, that just adds to hard and extreme. Okay.
I failed at climbing the walls.
So everybody open your sheet, and at the top where it says roll options, switch to verbose, because then it'll show
Ah. Okay.
the hard and
Oh, great.
extreme like it was before.
Okay.
However, that's not helping us with the pushing rolls.
But even on regular, we're still getting the like when Eric got the hard success, even without having hard and extreme number.
Yeah, it highlights it,
included,
yeah.
It still tells us that actually might be a little cleaner
Yeah.
to stay with regular.
2 more seconds while I look. NPC toggle, HP edit, luck edit.
Yeah, there's nothing on the sheet that mentions that.
Nope, you just have to re-roll for pushing.
Sad face.
They are updating the sheet because they're trying to integrate it with the main core books so you can drag and drop. I bet this has something to do with that.
Oh,
Got it.
that's cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it'll work like the D&D sheets.
Pushing
All right.
means the same DC.
Push roll doesn't increase the DC necessarily. It's supposed to make it hard, but I don't always make it hard. It depends on what you're pushing. However,
Okay.
I will screw you hard if you fail. In Eric's case, yeah, that was a hard because he failed, but he succeeded, so he's fine. Okay. 45 minutes later, Lieutenant Martin Poole arrives. I will share the gorgeous face of Martin Poole with you. Lieutenant Poole, where are you? There you are. Lieutenant Poole looks like a very hard, experienced man who's been with the force for quite a while.
That's a face.
He is a hard-boiled detective. He goes around the room and talks to he ignores you completely at first.
I
Goes
see
around,
what you did there.
I know, right?
Hey.
He goes around the room talking to all the junior officers first. And then, eventually he makes his way over to you, looks over all 4 of you without saying a word, kind of does the gesture to his boys who drag everyone but Hazel out. Why don't you have a sit, ma'am? Sit down, ma'am. He pulls a chair out for you.
She complies.
So why don't you tell me exactly what happened here?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He whips
okay.
out his notebook and licks the pencil.
Ew. Sorry. Distracted. Well, we went to visit our friend who invited us here to New York. It's quite a lovely city, but when we arrived, he didn't answer, so we ended up entering his room and we found these brigands, these robbers, these murderers had killed our friend. And my employer, Sydney, gave chase out the window because one of the robbers, murderers, cold-blooded killers, slaughterers tried to escape. And as you saw, as your men had seen, he had taken down the bully, and he should rather be considered a hero.
What exactly was your friend doing here? He looks over at the dead body that no one's moved yet.
He's a researcher, and he was trying to find out what happened to a lost expedition, and we were here to help him. We helped him on another expedition to Peru.
What was his name? Elias
Our
Jackson.
friends?
Yes.
Oh, I was like, Carlisle? Do I tell him the guy's other
He's
name?
asking
I
about
don't
the
know.
deceased's name.
He's my dear friend, Jackson Elias.
I see. And where are you from? You don't
I'm
sound local.
I'm not. I'm from England, and I'm within the employ of Sydney. I'm actually a mechanic.
Oh, really? How very forward-thinking of you.
It is, and my friends and family back home say it's rather American of me.
Out of character. Are you going to try to get something out of him? Or do you want to just answer his questions and move on with your life?
Good question. I'd like to see if he would be willing to tell me who the men were that killed our friend.
Okay. You can roll Persuade or Fast Talk or Credit Rating.
You know that language? I can speak that language.
Can you?
Can
No.
you, Dan the Hobo?
No. At 50 cents.
No.
You're like, you should tell me what's going on. Here's 50 cents.
Wow.
Or you think about bribing him, but did you realize your purse is out there with the other cops as evidence? Damn.
Curses.
Would you like to try one of the other two, or not press your luck?
I'm gonna try one of the other ones.
Okay.
It was Fast Talk or Persuade. What about Charm?
That won't work on this gentleman.
Ah, curses. Oh my god.
Oh.
Do I have any bonus anything I could spend on this?
As far as I know, you did not blow all your points earlier in the session, no. I don't
would
remember
like
you
to-
using
60
any
luck?
points.
You're doing 60 luck?
No, she hasn't used any of her rerolls. You guys did, but she didn't.
Oh.
Any of her bonus die.
I'd like to do that.
Roll a d10.
You need to roll 1 or a 2, and you may need to spend some luck at that.
That would be 40 versus 20, which means now it would cost you 20 luck points. Or you could hope one of these guys gets the information.
I'm gonna hope one of those guys gets the information. I can persuade machinery, not people, apparently.
Yeah.
He asks you a lot of other questions. He doesn't seem, from what you can tell, you didn't do a psychology roll, to be really after you, though. But you have no reason to suspect you're a suspect because you didn't kill anyone. You actually disabled the villains. You're escorted out of the room. Mr. Caldwell.
So,
He says your name, then walks back in the room.
yeah.
He's
What's
clearly
going-
waiting for you to come in the room with him.
Oh, we're gonna one-on-one. Okay. Cool. I walk in, have a seat.
At first, he was thinking to himself, of all the dames to walk into my life, because he's a hard-boiled detective. But then you walk in and he's like, and then I met this mook. This soft-headed mook. You come into the room. Says, so tell me what happened, Mr. Caldwell.
So we got a call from our friends who want us to come over and exchange the notes. We arrived early.
So you're a reporter,
but,
right?
Yeah.
A newspaper do you work for?
A little rag down in Arkham.
Right. Continue. He's throwing you off guard by interrupting your story.
Sure. Anyway,
obviously working.
So,
It's obviously working.
so anyway, we came here and arrived
where?
early. Uptown,
Uptown, you say?
and then yeah,
Mm-hmm. Scratch.
Anyway.
Scratch.
Uptown. We were here to meet a buddy. Arrived early. Knocked on the door a couple times. Couldn't hear anything. Then we heard something, and so we smashed the door in.
So you broke down the door of a room in a public building.
Right, we did
I
because
see.
we were trying to
Scratch,
save our friends.
Scratch.
Yeah. Just
Just
you
digging
gotta
that
keep right in there.
hole.
You gotta listen. cops in this town.
Got a problem with police, do you? Interesting. Scratch, 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 scratch.
Oh my god.
Continue, Mr. Caldwell.
I can't wait to write the report about, the NYPD and its inability to, solve a murder. More worried
don't
about the
worry.
bystanders.
We have several leads and at least one suspect. Scratch, 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 scratch.
Oh god.
Yeah, that's right. Can I psychology how much an asshole this guy is?
You can roll psychology, yes.
Did I psychology how much of an asshole this guy
You
is?
realize that this guy is giving you a hard time because you lied to his beat cops.
Oh.
But you feel like he's just giving you a hard time.
Okay. So then I'll just tell him, we were just here. We tried to stop them. They killed our friends. We got revenge. Moved on with our day.
He asks you a lot of other questions, most of which seem irrelevant to you. Gives you a lot of mm-hms. And then unless you're going to try to dig him for information, which will be harder for you, he will swap you out for the next person.
So you said this guy's uncharmable?
He's uncharmable. It's persuade, fast talk, or credit rating. And for you, persuade or fast talk would be hard, not regular.
Okay. You know what? I'm still gonna try to persuade and be like, so if I were to write a story about this and put, a certain lieutenant in the limelight,
Roll it.
What else could I could help here.
Trying to bribe a cop. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh god.
He says, I'm sure I will be well looked after in the New York Times, a not a little out of the way newspaper from Arkham. Thank you for time, Mr. Caldwell.
Yeah, thank you. You're doing a great service to the city.
Mr. Looks at his notes. Hobo. Dan, Mr. Lombardi.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, what is it?
If you don't mind, he ushers you into the room.
He kind of walks in and shuffles in a little bit, looks around, and he's like, yeah.
He pulls up a chair for you and puts it right next to the bed with the body in it and says, have a seat, let's talk.
Hey, that's my friend over there.
Yes, it is.
Can
Apparently.
we do this somewhere else?
Allegedly.
You don't believe me? You don't believe the three other people in the hall either?
He gives you a real slow up-down look that you would find offensive if you were a lady, but you're not. And he's like,
What are you looking at, Mac?
I don't know if I believe you yet or not, sir. And he kind of with his handkerchief.
What's the matter? You got allergies?
Make a psychology roll.
I'm terrible at psychology.
I know.
Oh my god. Yeah, no.
He just kind of chuckles when you ask him if he has allergies in a derisive way. He's making fun of the fact that you're clearly not an upstanding citizen because you're a hobo, but he's not openly mocking you. You didn't figure that out, though.
Yeah, I just kind of figured he's,
So why don't you
Got a
tell me
problem.
what happened here?
Well, how many times we gotta tell you? We got invited to come to this place because we have a friend here with Mr. Elias. He didn't open the door, so we came in. We heard something was inside. Somebody was moving around inside, something suspicious. And then we came into those louts that were in here, those murderers, and we went at them. And Mr. Rockwell climbed out the window, and he chased one of the guys out in the street, and he wham! He hit him with his gun and knocked him out. And I got that one guy, and I boxed him right in the corner and punched him right in the kisser.
I see.
Yeah. So what do you do today?
And I'll have you tell the story as many times as it takes to reach the truth. Where are you from? Where's your permanent residence, Mr. Lombardi?
From Boston. Where are you from?
New York City, clearly. He's got the thickest Bronx accent you've ever heard. I'm just suck at it, so I'm not trying.
Yeah, well, my dad was from Brooklyn, so whatever.
I see. So you have a home here?
Everywhere's my home. That's what I like to say.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to try to get information out of this man?
Here's my fast talk.
It's either charm or persuade. However, you can lean into the fact that you're a veteran.
Yeah.
I was just typing that to him.
I'm like, listen, pal, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, okay? I fought back in the big one. I was overseas with the Legion, and I just came back from all that, and all of a sudden my friend just gets murdered in front of me. So take it easy with me, huh? And take it easy with those guys out there. They haven't been through as much stuff as I have. As soon as I saw these louts with these knives, I came right at them.
He says, so you served in the Great War, did you?
You're damn right I did.
His eyes soften up a little. You can roll persuade. Oh wait, no, you can fast talk.
Oh yeah.
And it's a hard fast talk. Unless you give him the World War I speech. Now it's regular.
The World War
I
I
fought
speech.
for this country.
I'm like, he's like, you kind of sound surprised that I fought in the big one.
You show him a bullet scar to convince him, we'll say.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know where
Right
I got
here on the
these
left cheek.
scars? You see that? You see that? You don't get that from those mooks that just climbed out the window out here.
Roll it.
Roll it. Roll in.
He makes a derisive comment about how they were probably on the other side during the war. Especially that
Other
Italian
side?
fellow.
Oh.
Buddy,
Oh.
you better dial it back real fast. It's like I fought with the French overseas. Parlez-vous français, huh?
I suppose the frogs are better than the whatever derisive term you come up with for Italians. I'm not actually gonna say.
Oh man, oh man. Daniel just kind of gets like red in the face, and he's just like cracking his knuckles.
He does open up to you though, even though he's clearly a product of his time. Kind of a gross guy. 20-year veteran too, which means, you know, he's an asshole. However, he feels like, you know, you and him, you have things in common. And he just kind of talks to you while he's asking you questions, and he says a few things that you find interesting. This is the 9th person they found in the last 2 years killed this specific way.
There's more like this?
Yeah. 8 more. They don't have any connections either. It's like there's nothing connected them. Poor, rich, middle class, lots of different races. Doesn't seem to matter. Different parts of the city.
He had a thing on his head there.
Yep.
You see,
They all had that, and that's what's linking it.
Who are these guys? Who are those louses that you guys stopped out back? I noticed you didn't stop Mr. Rockwell too bad. As soon as you found one of them. Who are those guys, huh?
We don't know. But trust me, if there's anything to be had, we'll beat it out of them.
I scrutinize when he says, "Oh, I don't know who those guys are." Like, I don't believe him.
Roll psychology.
Oh shit! Another thing. One thing. Hey, fuck you!
What?
He's not lying. He's not lying to you. The police are pretty
What?
stumped. The police, as far as he knows, are pretty stumped on this. And he's not lying about beating it out of them either. Either they'll talk, or they won't have any teeth left to talk with.
Well, you need any help with that? I'll pop him in the kisser again. Just killed my buddy.
He does tell you an eccentric weird doc named Lemming, Mordecai Lemming. He's from Manhattan. He says something about an African death cult, but I think he's crazy. They're not
Kyle
all
Lemming
Africans.
Cal Lemming from who? From where?
Mordecai Lemming.
Mordecai.
He's from Manhattan. Lemming, like, you know, go off
Yeah.
a cliff in a row. Except they really don't, thanks Disney.
Manhattan. Was looking into the
No.
into the killings?
He told the cops he thought it was linked to an African death cult, and they blew him off. Because that's weird
Oh.
conspiracy nonsense, and they're not all blacks. They're not all any race.
I actually make a point of that. I'm like, wait, did you say African death cults?
That's what he thought, but he's crazy.
That's what he was studying. Jax was studying that sort of stuff all the time.
Jax.
It's how we met. Yeah, his name is Jackson. We called him Jax.
I did make a note of that. It is interesting. We'll have to look into this gentleman's background, says about your friend.
You better find him. You better find these guys.
Said
I will.
Until now, the investigation was closed. When Captain Robson of 14th Precinct in Harlem, they arrested a guy. What was his name? Hilton Adams, I think. Yeah. He was at the scene of one of the murders, and, they think he did it. Psychology roll with a bonus die.
Okay. Well, I'll roll the bonus die, but
Just D10.
Yeah.
Want to spend those
fuck.
10 luck points? You're gonna
Fuck
do better.
yeah!
That hard
Fuck
success.
yeah, I will.
That hard success on the fast talk. You're gonna get more than Sydney.
Nice. Wait, where's what do I reduce the luck?
Your total goes down by 10, and then at the end of the session, you can try to re-raise it again.
Okay, so it's like 55 now. Gotcha. Cool.
He doesn't think this guy did it. He thinks they just pinned it on him because he's an African American in Harlem in the 20s at a murder. You know how it is.
This ain't right, Lieutenant. This ain't right. You eight other murders like this, and you have no leads.
If it was my case, it would be done differently.
Well, whose case is it? Who do I gotta talk to, huh?
The name he mentioned that pinned apparently the crime on this other person was Captain Robson of the Harlem precinct, 14th precinct in Harlem.
I'm gonna have a chit chat with that guy for sure.
It is clear that Poole is concerned Robson got the wrong man now. He tells you he's heard rumors. Oh wait, no. Fast talk. Let's see you get another awesome roll.
Keep him talking. Keep him
Yeah.
gabbing.
You gotta earn it.
Fuck! I'll push that shit.
Whoa.
Fuck it.
Wait. Push it or just spend the 4 luck points?
Man, that might
Your
be
call.
running out of luck, man.
Okay.
I know what Sean's gonna say if I ask.
No, actually,
somebody play the
they
push
tell
it.
you luck points.
Somebody play the push it song.
Luck points at this point.
Push
Luck
it.
points.
Luck points, really? I am
It's
shocked.
only 4.
All right. I'll spend the 4 points. It's
Not
done.
like you got dealt 2 10s in blackjack.
If you hadn't made that hard roll the first time, the 4 luck points wouldn't have been enough. But it is because you already made a hard check. You know, between you and me, Lieutenant Lombardi, I heard rumors that Robson might be dirty. He might be on the take. But I can't
That
prove
doesn't
that. You
surprise
didn't hear
me
it
at
from
all.
me. You didn't hear it from me.
Nah, sure, of course not. No, that's not a problem. I'll keep my mouth shut about that. I'll be paying Mr. Robson a visit probably.
He looks over his shoulder at the door and he looks back at you and he gets a look in his face, like the kind of look a cop gets when the cop's pissed off. And he says, "Yeah, he took those boys you knocked out. He came in all blustery and pulling rank and shit. Said since this was his case, and he's a higher rank than me, and yeah, he just took them boys.
You took him where? To the pen?
I don't know.
Pen pal?
Said he needs him for questioning because of the Adams case, and I could have him back when he's done."
So he took the mooks off your hand. Huh. This guy smells scummy to me. Well,
He has
something's gotta
nothing
get done.
else. He has nothing else of interest to the case to tell you. However, because of all those good rolls, you continue talking to him. You're all three standing outside. It's been like 25 minutes. You're probably convinced they killed Dan the hobo in there or something. Threw him out the window to get him to talk. You don't know. But then the door opens.
He had a good run.
But then the door opens.
It's not like Sydney's in there gabbing their ears off.
But then the door opens, and they come out laughing. And the lieutenant's got his arm around Dan. They walk right past you. He tips his hat to you, Hazel, ignores the two of you.
Wow.
And he says, "Yeah, that bar here, I know I've been talking to you about that bar for 20 minutes. Come on, let's go check it out." And the two of them disappear into the night.
I
Wow.
love it. I love it so much. Oh my god.
Little help, please.
He ignores you. And just as they're about to go out of sight around the corner, he turns around and nods to the other cops who release you two. Hazel was never in cuffs.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was cuffed? I didn't realize it was cuffed.
I don't remember if you were or not. We're gonna say you were because he doesn't like you.
Fair.
Don't like him either.
The three of you return to Sydney's place.
Did I just charm the uncharmable lieutenant? detective
Basically,
guy?
yeah.
Holy shit.
You kind of killed that man. That was awesome.
Like, he doesn't even question Sydney. Forget Sydney was even there, apparently.
Wow. Alright.
Cool.
You all
Okay,
return to
probably wouldn't
Sydney's
have gone
flat,
well.
where
Good.
you all are very sad and somber for like 2 hours before Dan comes in.
Oh man, that guy can drink
I
a
probably would have shot
horse under the
Sydney.
table. Holy cow!
Oh yeah, that man can drink.
Take a load
smoke.
off.
That man can drink and smoke.
Sorry for the delay, boss. You know, this guy, he's something else. I got some info for you. You may want to write this down. So this guy Martin Poole, he's got information about these murders. Plural. There's more than one. Elias is number 9. There's 8 other people that got murdered up in this place.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how long now.
Nearly 9 murders of this
Yeah.
style?
Yeah, exactly the same. They got a guy called Captain Robson out of the Harlem precinct. He's investigating these rumors, these murders. He took those mooks right out the lieutenant's hands as soon as he came on the scene. Started pulling rank, he said. Talked about a guy who got probably wrongfully accused, right? Black guy by the name of Hilton Adams. He was at the scene of one of the other murders. He also mentioned some guy named Mordecai Lemming. He's from Manhattan. Apparently, he told the cops that this whole thing was linked to an African death cult, and they completely blew him off because, you know, of course they did. Bunch of louts.
How horrible, how corrupt. Something must be done.
You said it, sister. I'm ready to punch that Captain Robson right in the kisser.
Is
And
there
then-
Find out where he
something?
And then,
lives.
at the end of the conversation while you were drinking, complaining a lot about his job and shit, he did drop another piece of information on you, Dan. He says that a little after 8 p.m. that night, because cops came in and out of that bar while you were there, he'd been pulled aside and they told him that an old black Hudson, license number N like New York, Y like York, L like Lima 7, was seen leaving the murder scene.
Say
And
that
that-
license plate one more time.
NYL7. The reason that's
NY.
interesting is such a car of that description and that license plate, owned by a Thomas Witherspoon, was stolen that same day while it was parked on Lenox Avenue in Harlem.
Car was jacked by somebody on Lenox Avenue in Harlem.
Yep, the owner's name was Thomas Witherspoon. So the cops put that down as an interesting bit of information since it was seen at a murder scene of the stolen car.
What time is it right now?
10:30 p.m. by now. You guys probably got released at like 8-ish or 7-ish or something, and then he went to the bar long enough for me to give
Okay.
you that last piece.
Well, it's
Then-
way past
then-
Sydney's bedtime.
Well, no, because I needed to, we needed to do something earlier. So
What?
Okay, I don't. So the thing is, I don't know if the ticket was for actually tonight, but we found a ticket for the
No.
speech on the Cult of Darkness.
That's not something you had to do this day at all. That's a past tense clue.
It's a past tense clue.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't
Fine.
specify a
Yeah, I
date
know.
or a year. So okay, never mind.
I'm writing expired in my notes.
You might want to, when we go back live, when you get to that clue, mention that ask me that so the people watching know that, because that's a good point. Don't yell, I'm going to start again. Or if you do yell at Sarah, it's her fault.
I'm sorry, Holly. I love you.
She heard you.
Did she?
Okay.
I mentioned the details of the missing car as almost like an after. Oh yeah, he mentioned something about a black Hudson that got taken off the street in Harlem from a guy named Thomas Witherspoon. There's something going on in Harlem. We gotta go check it out. I think that's where we gotta start.
This is quite a vast series of events and connections.
African death
Also
cult.
have we've got the business card to the import place. We've got some sort of station. We got a business card to.
So yeah, we have 8 clues so far, and then everything that was just told to Daniel.
That is correct.
There's also Harvard has said Elias was looking into a book that's not around, but maybe other volumes might contain what he's looking for.
We had that ticket to the Cult of Darkness, 8
We have
p.m.
Stumbling Tiger Bar.
Right, 8 p.m. tonight only. Tyler, that's a past tense clue though, right?
That is correct. That is something that already happened.
Okay.
I am popping this up so you can look at it, so you can decide amongst yourselves. As a day or two passes, it's a big headline in the New York Times. This particular reporter is apparently interested in this story, Rebecca Schossenberg.
Ooh.
The funeral will be, you assume, later this week, so you probably have a couple days to pass time before anything interesting happens. You've not been notified of any funeral yet, but it's only the next morning. You wake up the next morning to extra, read all about it.
I could have written that article.
Let me get one of those. Toss the penny or something.
Gee, thanks, sir.
Open it up.
So yes, you can discuss amongst yourselves in character what you think you should do next for a few moments, and then you have a day to kill.
I think we're gonna need to go head over to Harlem. This captain's corrupt. This Captain Robson guy. He's got the wrong guy pinned for the crimes.
Are you gonna go punch a cop?
If I have to, sure.
Okay. That sounds like a great idea.
He actually doesn't think it's a bad idea. I mean, if you're a bad cop,
I
you just
know
punch
he
in the mouth.
doesn't.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, that's in London, though. So the import place is in New York. You got a place in Shanghai.
Did we
Place in
confirm that's
London.
actually in Shanghai?
I thought it was.
The Matchbox says it's from Stumbling Tiger Bar, 10 Lantern Street, Shanghai Fun and Friends.
Right. I
Must be
remember.
Chinatown.
I was gonna say. I just remember asking, like, does that that could just be the name of the place, or a tagline or something.
What about
10
that
La-
other place?
Is there a
10
Lantern
Lantern
Street in New York?
I will pop up the map, but yes, there is in fact a Lantern Street. Well,
Oh, okay.
hold on. What was the clue you're looking at again before I say the wrong thing?
The matchbook.
The Carlisle Papers, America #3. We're trying to figure out if the Stumbling Tiger Bar might be here in New York in Chinatown, or if
Yeah.
that's in Shanghai.
The matchbook is from Shanghai. That is an address
Well,
in
shit.
China.
What about that other place? Emerson Imports. That's right here in NYC, yeah?
And
Yes,
so is there's a guy at the New York University. Oh wait, no. Where's this guy? 2 hour lecture.
Yeah. Miriam Atwright, right?
Emerson Imports is in fact in New York City on 47th Street.
Oh. Ha! This guy is the fellow of Polynesian Esoterica at
Miskatonic.
Miskatonic University.
Which is a few
Which
hour
is
trip
where-
through the country.
Yeah.
Through you could visit Arkham, yes.
So we could go check out the imports in Harvard University.
And now, keep in mind, this is the 20s. If you're trying to meet with people, it's best to try to set an appointment up ahead of time because of the era. It's hard to just give a call or send a text.
Wait,
What about
you
this
mean
guy
I can't
Lemmy?
text in the 20s?
They did. It was called telegrams.
Yeah. We got this guy Lemming. He's apparently an expert or something in African death cults. He must have known Jax too.
Should we dare split the party?
No,
Big
no,
wor-
no, no, no.
I think we're gonna have to. There's just too many leads.
That's what it is. Come
You're
on,
not.
we're
You're
big
not.
boys
You're
and
not on.
girls.
You are not currently on a timer,
Yeah, I mean,
but it's up to you.
I mean, we can go to the import. If you want to talk to the reporter, Clive, that might be stuff that you can meet with her probably more one-on-one and get more out of her than all of us ganging up on her. We're gonna have to travel to Harvard. Like that's probably gonna kill a whole day going to Harvard and back, or up to we could hit Harvard and how far is Arkham from Boston?
Couple hours.
A few hours journey. It's not terrible by train. It's a straight train because they're two major cities.
We leave early in the morning. We might be able to hit our Harvard and Arkham in the same day and make that one day of investigation.
I like the sound of that.
And
Whatever you say, Chief.
oh, hey, there's a telephone number on this import card. Can we call that?
You could.
we could. And
Come on,
then
do your talk.
Sydney has a phone.
And then who is Warren Bassart? He wrote this letter, but
Yeah, that was the letter regarding Egypt.
right. Oh, right. That was back from
That guy's in Egypt.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's okay. All right. So we can call. He's up at Arkham.
We don't want to talk to. We're gonna talk to Silas Nakwame at Emerson
Kwame.
Imports.
Kwame?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can call that guy.
Gonna make that phone call? You want to do that now?
Yeah, let's do that phone call.
At 10:30 at night.
It's the next day. I
it's
jumped
the
to
next
that.
morning.
Sorry. Yeah. This is
Okay.
at some point after breakfast.
Okay. How's your fast talk, Sean?
Not,
Clive.
I don't lie. I don't lie.
Clive is
He is
charming.
very obsessed with finding the truth.
Chelsea.
Like, he tells little white lies, but nothing that's like a straight up just lie.
Okay. I only mention that because it might be easier talking to an importer if you pose as a client.
Or, as you pose as a newspaperman, doing a story on the latest tariffs being applied to, imports.
Okay.
Pretty brilliant.
I call him, and I asked to
phone-
speak with us.
The phone rings 3 times and a lady answers, and it's 1000% Janine. Emerson Imports, how can I help you?
Hi, this is Clive Caldwell of the such and such newspaper. I can't think of her name. Yeah, so I'm doing a story about the latest tariffs on imports, and I had a card here that I met a Silas Nakwame. Can I speak to him?
I don't know any Mr. Nikwane, sir. However,
Okay.
you'd have to talk to the owner,
Uh huh.
Mr. Emerson
Who's that? Emerson.
of Emerson's Imports, sir.
Right. Is there a Silas that works there?
No, probably a client.
A client. Oh, yeah, I guess that makes a whole lot of sense. Oh, you know what? Now that you say that, he was talking about Emerson. Can I speak to Mr. Emerson?
He's not here, sir. Perhaps you'd like to stop by and meet with him after lunch when he returns.
After lunch? That sounds great. All right, I'll meet with him after lunch.
Yes, sir.
After lunch. Yeah.
Fantastic. Click.
Where does he like to take lunch? I'll be in the area and I wanted to get lunch.
Janine ain't got no time for you.
Oh, that was great.
At least she didn't ask you if it was an apparition, a specter, or...
Hey, I have that shirt.
I'm picking up what you're putting
Great
down.
shirt. Cool. So, I mean, they heard my conversation, so.
Yeah. You relate to them what she said.
Right.
So he's a client. He's got money, I guess.
The address is on the edge of the Hudson, just past Hell's Kitchen, just so you know.
So, I got a sneaky suspicion this guy is African, importing weird African shit into New York. Maybe? Anybody with me on this? Yes, no? No?
Well,
Okay.
I don't know. I want to talk to that guy, that Mordecai guy. He's
You
apparently
can
an expert
punch
on
the
this,
cop.
No, that's Robson. I'll punch him later. I'll box him later. Don't worry about him. I'm talking about the guy who's an expert on the Colts. I need to talk to that guy because he probably knows who Jackson was.
Oh, where does Lemmy actually work?
That's what I want to know.
I thought he said.
He's from Manhattan. That's all I got from this guy from Poole.
Yeah, a lot of these leads you'll have to do more research on via the New York Times or a library, whatever you think.
Okay.
Yes, Steve.
Yeah, sorry. So, okay, well, I mean, back in the day, couldn't you, basically call a switchboard operator and ask to be connected to a particular person if they had a publicly listed number?
Yes.
Okay, so how about this? Clive and whoever wants to go with Clive, you go meet up with Emerson after lunch, and then someone else can go meet with Lemming if we can get a hold of him. And to get a hold of him, you can go. I thought I might go with you too, just so we tag along, not completely send people out alone. Because I think those are the two leads we kind of have right now.
So
The phone rings.
and then oh.
What? Oh.
The phone rings again.
Pick it up.
I don't
Hello?
work here.
Oh, it's
It's a
Hello.
lady's voice, but it's
Hello.
not Janine this time. Continue with your greeting, Steve.
Hello, as you have reached the Rockwell residence. This is Sidney Rockwell speaking.
Yes, Mr. Rockwell. I was instructed to give you a call to extend our most heartfelt condolences on the loss of your good friend, Jackson Elias, and to let you know that his funeral will be taking place. This is Prospero House Publishing calling on behalf of Mr. Prospero. It's pronounced Prospero, but she doesn't say that.
Publisher.
I see.
The funeral will be taking place at Cypress Hills Cemetery in Brooklyn at 2 p.m. on January 17th.
That's insane.
We would be very pleased if you could attend. We know that Mr. Elias thought kindly of all of you. Again, we're very sorry. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Who was that?
That's his publisher. You got that from handouts.
Oh, I know who
Yeah,
I know who
yeah,
it was.
2 and
I'm
3.
just like,
Oh,
Right,
sorry.
right. Yeah.
in character mode. Who was that, Chief?
Mr. Lombardi, that was a representative from the publishing house that employed our friend, our recently deceased friend. They wish to extend to us an invitation to his funeral.
Is Jackson's death already in the newspaper when I picked it up?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
that
that's
article
what that
I shared
article
with
is.
everyone was.
Yeah. The front
Okay.
page.
Just wanted to make sure because if it's like the publisher knows he's dead before it's actually public, then it's like, oh, okay. But
Yeah, Rebecca Schossenberg of the New York Times wrote an article already.
Got it.
Plus, Prospero House was his notification, like next of kin.
Oh, wow.
Can I call the New York Times?
Yes.
Would
Ring,
like to speak.
ring. New York Times. How can we help you? So much noise
I
in the
need
background.
Yeah, can I get the desk of Rebecca Schossenberg, please?
No, I don't need that right now. I need that yesterday at 6 p.m. What's wrong with you? I'm sorry, sir. How can I help you?
Rebecca Schossenberg, please. Need to speak with her.
Hold on, I'll see if she's in. Violent clinking of a phone being being dropped. Lots of shouting and loud mechanical noises in the background.
Hasn't changed a bit, I'm sure.
Someone get me pictures of Spider-Man happens in the background somewhere.
Spider-Man!
I'm pretty sure they've forgotten about you because it's been like 5 minutes. And you're about to hang up when the phone is picked up and said, and then dropped, and then a lot of cursing, and then, are you still there, sir?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know why. I'd have hung up. That's okay. That's a little weird. What was your question?
Rebecca Shosh.
Oh, right. I'll go check. Puts his phone back down.
Man. I feel like I'm there.
These are your people, Clive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Well, I work for the Arkham Times. It's very, very not as high intense.
You're still on hold while I look up Rebecca. Still on hold.
So while he's doing that, just once again, I want to get our clues
Sydney,
straight.
can we get some snacks? Room
Sorry.
service?
Sorry, what? No.
You're made of money. Get some goddamn snacks up here. We're all hungry and famished.
Made of money.
Meals are provided at the appropriate time.
He wants a cracker. Give the man a
Oh,
cracker.
speaking of which, I'm gonna go to this imports place.
Sorry,
so I'm gonna
I'm
need
I'm not
like
familiar.
$5.
I'm not familiar with this term. You're saying a snack.
It's a Snicker
Right.
snack,
Be
like the
hospitable. They're asking for tea.
I don't know
Snicker.
what.
He wants a
You know
Snicker.
what? I asked the wrong person. Could you maybe get us? That's not a womanizing thing. I just know that
Asking me to go
you
in the
know what a
kitchen.
snack is.
I'll
You know,
have
I
you
just-
know. I'll have you know I am very bad at cooking.
I didn't say you cook. I just know that you actually understand the English language. You understand
the
snacks.
phone gets
Miss
picked up,
Murphy.
and the
Yeah.
Brooklyn, and the phone gets picked up, and a lady with a Brooklyn accent says, "Hello,
Hey, how you doing? This is Clive Caldwell from the Arkham Times.
I'm Rebecca. I heard you were looking for me."
Yeah, you interested in African death cults?
In what?
Murders.
You know that thing?
What? Why?
Meet me down at Emerson Imports. Might have a story for you.
What's this about, sir?
It's about the article you wrote.
Which one, sir?
Jackson Elias.
She seems surprised. Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
why don't you meet me here at my office?
Why don't you meet me down at Emerson Imports? Get a twofer.
Silence while she considers meeting the strange random man on the other side of town, on the docks. Perhaps we should meet at my office first, and then we can head there together.
Can I grab the phone from
cool.
him?
Let's do that.
You grab the phone from him as he's saying, "Let's do that."
I'm talking.
It's all right.
Oh, who's
It's an
this?
oath. My name is Hazel Murphy, and
Hi, Hazel.
this
I'm
man,
Rebecca.
How this works?
this man is my friend. You have nothing to worry about.
Oh my.
And I will be with him, so you don't have to worry, and I will be there to slap him upside the head if he says something stupid.
We're totally not murderers.
Shut the fuck up, Daniel!
She
Yeah, I will-
seems. She
That
seems.
We're not
homo
luring
smell.
you to an isolated place.
Here's
Just
Rebecca.
joking. Just a
Here's
joke.
Rebecca, and here's Rebecca, and she's like,
Adder.
"Oh,
I
good.
will
I'm
then-
reassured. I'll meet you at my offices then before we head down there."
Okay.
I hand the phone back to him and then I give a dirty look to Dan.
You put the phone
Right,
back to your
you've
ear
already-
to say goodbye to the lady, but all you hear is cursing
I'm-
and swearing as the phone is hung up in the background.
Who the fuck? Who the fuck?
Sydney, had you gotten some snacks, Hobo over here, his mouth would have been full of stuff.
Miss
So when
Murphy,
he
I
yells
think he
murder,
wants
it would
tea
have been
time.
muffled.
I think he's ready for tea time. I think that's what it is.
You know what?
He wants tea and crumpets. I don't know anything about this sort of thing. I figure you have a nice accent. You're from England. You know better than I do.
I shall
Hazel, you coming
go
with me?
get-
Because obviously Sydney's not coming with me because he'll just talk forever, and I'm not happy with Dan right now. So, but
Hello, Yes, are you a reporter that reported on death cults? Hi, I'm a total stranger. Can I meet you in the docks at night?
It would be
Sure.
early afternoon at best.
I'm totally not going to murder you. Honest to goodness.
What are you two doing
Dan.
while they head to the New York Times?
My
Dan,
face hurts.
if you're going to open your mouth, think about it. Think about it again. Think about it a fourth time.
And then don't do it anyway.
And then don't do it. Just don't do it. Unless there's a corrupt cop to punch. No. Just no. Again, Sydney, by the way, I need 5. I need a 5.
Sorry, boss. I didn't mean to talk over you while you're on the phone. Hey,
No,
Chief,
it's fine. You know
are we
what,
gonna
Daniel?
go? Are we gonna go hit the Harlem?
I need a per diem.
Go
Come on,
hit
man.
Harlem.
Mr. Caldwell, I
Yeah.
understand that you have your series of events that you'll be following through with today, and I understand that you'll need some financial assistance in which to do that. However, at this point in time, you have shown to be quite capable of your own accord, and I trust that you will be just fine. Mr. Lombardi, I do
Your friend just died, and you're gonna cheap out on his investigation on who murdered him?
Clive, I have a
Really?
question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite snack and your most hated snack?
please
I
be accurate
imagine
to
he likes
1920s snacks.
nuts. Are nuts popular? I imagine peanuts are a big thing.
They used to serve fish in Jello.
That
called,
sounds terrible. So there's my favorite and least favorite.
What do they call those cookies with the jam in the middle?
Oh, Jammy Dodgers.
Damn, Jammy Dodgers. There you go. Why don't you get a Jammy Dodger or something?
The door opens, and in comes one of Sydney's manservants with a tray. There's a small plate of Jammy Dodgers, which Sydney immediately grabs, and then a giant plate of fish and jello, which he sets down in front of you, Clive, and exits the room without a word.
There you go, boss. You got some food now.
Also,
Let's go, Sid Rock. Let's hit the
also-
streets.
enough tea for all of you. Earl Grey,
Yay.
hot.
That looks like somebody ate fish, shared it out, and then cooked it.
Oh, you looked it up? I was just
No,
looking up.
I did.
Oh,
It probably does look like that.
So I don't think Jammy Dodgers existed in the
They
20s.
do now.
They do now, which
You
is
like
fine.
you like soft cookies with jam on them. That's what he gave you.
Sydney would not be snacking pre-lunch.
No, but you can't let Clive have those cookies.
the original, like the brand name type, was invented in 1966. However, there were probably plenty of
Concepts.
recipes for biscuits with jam.
Jam.
However, that is not actually fish with jello on the tray. He comes in with tea and biscuits because that's what Sydney asked for. Biscuits, of course, being cookies. Crunchy cookies.
I can't feed you all day.
You can and you will. You're financing the shindig now.
I'm
Come
good,
on,
Chief.
let's
Come
go.
on, let's hit the streets.
Yes, Mr. Lombardi, I do believe we'll be making a trip to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Oh boy.
Or the Bronx, I'm sorry.
Bronx. Why are we going to the Bronx?
Where are we going to find this guy?
Harlem, right? I think. I don't know.
Clive
You
clicked
tell
the
me,
link.
boss.
First.
For all those
Holy-
watching at home, Clive clicked the link that you
Holy-
can't see.
No,
Holy-
wait, shit. Sorry, we have to make this call still. I'm sorry, I'm completely thrown off on what the hell's going on right now. We still have to call. Okay, so, Mr. Lombardi, yes, let's find out where we're going, shall we? So I will now pick up the phone. I will use my own phone instead of allowing Clive to have free reign of my facilities. And I will connect to the switchboard.
Okay. Random Brooklynite answers. Switchboard, where can I direct your call?
Yes, hello, I'm looking to speak with a Mordecai Lemming, please.
Hold on. Click. 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 Lots of clicks.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's
I
one
think
with little
I think he
shrimp
said
on
he
it.
was from
Oh.
Manhattan.
Click. Connecting. Phone starts ringing. Rings a lot. Nobody picks up. It occurs to you, probably makes sense. It's daytime, and that guy's probably just a working class Joe of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
He's not home.
Not home.
Does make enough money for a phone, though. And it's not a party line because somebody would have picked up.
Okay, I will hang up that line, and I will make another line, and I will call back Prospero Publishing.
The lady who spoke to you about the funeral answers the phone.
Yes, hello. We spoke just a few moments ago. This is Sydney Rockwell, associate of Jackson Elias.
Yes.
Yes, hi. Thank you very much for taking my call today. I have a question for you. I'm looking for another friend of Mr. Elias's. Unfortunately, I do not have the contact information for. Perhaps though you have been in contact with him, he's in the same field of study as Mr. Elias. Are you aware of a Mordecai Lemming? Has he perhaps published with you or purchased some books in bulk?
Stand by, out of character. Good question.
Nice job.
Meanwhile, Clive is standing down in the lobby with Hazel. Like, I bet you they don't get moving for like another 3 hours because Sydney's just going to use all the words.
That and Sydney must make sure that he's ready to go out. He does his hair and his makeup, and he makes sure he's in his fanciest clothes.
How he wears makeup? How did he do that in Peru?
You think you get an appearance of 70?
I will never know.
You put effort in.
Daily.
Jeez.
Did you say daily or gaily?
I said daily, but that's not what we're laughing at. Look at Roll20.
Look at the chat.
Holy shit!
You hear this while you're on hold, Sydney,
Oh my god. That's
and
brilliant.
you know it's not the operator.
How did you even do that? That's amazing.
Look.
You got nothing with. You only have 2 phones in your house. You see him.
Oh my god, I'm dying.
After he finishes the phone call, I'm like, boss, you gotta get your lines checked out. There's all sorts of static on there. Terrible.
Oh my god.
She comes back after a while. It tells you after Dan is hung up, and she tells you that Mr. Kensington, the owner of Prospero House, would be more than happy to have a sit down with you and discuss all of these things.
Oh, we should have a sit down with us in regard to
Mr. Elias and what he was working on before his tragic end.
I see. Yes, I would be able to meet in regard to that.
She sets an appointment up with you for tomorrow. After
Perfect.
lunch.
Very well, thank you so much.
You hang up.
Well, I didn't get us closer to Lemming, but we'll get some information about what Elias is working on.
Hashtag, damn that hobo breathes fast.
Oh my god.
T-shirt. That's your second T-shirt right there.
Oh, that hurts. It hurts. My face hurts so bad.
So,
So these
heavy
guys take
breather
off?
and Sydney, what would you like to do with your afternoon?
Well, that's we got an appointment for tomorrow, so we can do other stuff in the meantime.
You don't have to do anything, but if there's a lead you want to follow up on while those two go to the Times, yes, you could.
That's the thing, I'm trying to figure out what else is here in New York we can go work. Like, we're not going to be able to confront a corrupt cop right now.
Do either of
No,
you
but
have
there's
library
another
use?
guy.
Because you could go do research if there was any.
That's what I did want to do. Thank you for pointing that out. I do want to actually go to the library.
Okay.
Um,
Dan in the library, this will be good.
Yeah,
Well, they have the books, right? All the books.
that is where they have all the books.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. I've never been to one before. Let's go. Let's hit it.
Wonder if
What else
Jan
happens in
knows
libraries?
that voice.
I assumed you'd slept many a
Quietness.
nights in the.
You should go
library.
see
Miriam Atwright at Harvard University Library. Follow up on that
Harvard.
clue.
Harvard is not in New York.
Yeah, that's a
It's
day
not?
trip.
No, it's
Harvard's
in
in
Boston.
Boston.
Hey, my hometown. Yeah.
So everyone's
Really?
just as loud as you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Harvard is really in Boston, yes.
No, I'm louder than them. That's
That doesn't seem right.
That Harvard is in Boston.
Oh shit! You're right.
that's how you say it, Chief. Harvard.
Harvard.
Yeah.
You could actually,
No.
you could actually
No.
do a sleeper train, and you could devote 2 days of your in-game time to hit all of those coastal areas, Arkham, Harvard, and whatever the other one was.
We'll do
It was just those two, I think.
the funeral the next day, and then I guess we can hit all the spots
Funeral-
at once.
Yeah, you'd have to do the road trip after the funeral.
Sound like a plan?
So, first we will deal with the New York Times. Do you take the L? Do you take the subway? Do you walk? Do you use Sydney's money on a cab?
Is just you two
No.
going?
What's the fastest way there?
Probably the
what's
L.
the fastest mode of transit? We'll take the L, I guess.
The elevated train.
Yeah.
Before the subways were everywhere.
It's just Hazel and Clive going to meet with this reporter?
Yes, and then
Yes.
we'll jump back to you
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
She needs a lady's
too.
presence. so
I'll
she
do jump
doesn't
back
freak
for
out.
so don't disappear. You arrive at the... Well, you could partially disappear, that's fine. You arrive at the New York Times, and it's even louder in person than it was on the phone.
Oh my god.
You come in the front door. I don't have any good loud New York Times music, or I'd use it. You come in the front door, and this guy that looks like he hasn't slept in 3 days, and he's just like mainlining caffeine, even though that's not a thing at this time period. And like half of his hair is up in the air, and the other half is slicked back, and he's like, "How can I help you?" His eyes twitching.
They did smoke
Good.
indoors though, and he probably would have been chain smoking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just like
looking
part
for-
of his mouth.
Rebecca Schoshenberg?
Right. Crime stats that way. He points vaguely off into the middle of the New York Times.
Over there.
Multi-story
there.
building that takes up a block. That way.
I randomly ask people, like, I'm looking for the crime desk. Crime desk.
Good choice. You managed to find it doing randomly making your way through the newspaper, getting jostled
Okay.
around, and yelled at. You heard colorful curse words you've never heard, which is something because you're a reporter.
Right.
Get the hell out of my way. Walking here.
And then you come up to the crime department, which is just like an explosion of paper and reporters, except in the middle, where Barbara Schorschenberg's desk is, which is like an island of calm and organization and neatness. She looks up and seems surprised to see you. You're the weirdo who called me on the phone, aren't you? You're actually here.
Yeah, and she's the not weirdo.
That's how I
so,
can
yeah,
tell.
nice
She
to
looks
meet
very
you.
British.
Hazel waves, just ever so gently.
How's your beat?
Psychology rolls.
Uh-oh.
Nice, Clive.
Do some psych.
Whoa.
You both
Damn.
realize it's a veneer of surprise, but secretly she's excited you're here.
Oh,
Delighted is the word.
game knows game. All right.
You were there at the murder scene, weren't you? You were the ones the lieutenant was talking about.
We
Yeah.
witnessed our friend's death.
Sit,
It was
sit, sit,
horrible.
sit. Smoke?
No.
No,
Don't-
thank
no.
you.
Strange, she lights up.
You know, they're probably going to discover in like 100 years that those are bad.
Big
You
belly
shouldn't
New
smoke
York laugh. You're a funny guy.
them. So, what do you know about the murders?
She pulls out from her desk, she opens a drawer with a key, pulls out a scrapbook. Whoop! And she starts flipping through it. And she starts talking while she shows you stuff from her scrapbook.
Okay.
She shows you the redacted crime reports she was able to get of the first two murders. You see no definite link between them, despite the strange symbol carved into their head However, by the third murder, in that report, you can see connections were being drawn, but you can't tell if they're real or not. The police seem baffled at this stage.
What's the connections?
You can either try to decipher it from the clippings with investigation skills, or you can try to get her to tell you with charming skills.
I mean, I'm good at my job, so is this a library use?
Spot, hidden, and a library, or a charm and a psychology.
Spot
I've got a
hidden.
good spot hidden.
Okay.
Damn, all right.
Library use next. Either one of you.
You guys are on fire right now.
Look at that!
Wow.
Ooh.
You're distracted by the newspaper. You're like, there is no way London news would be a mess like this. Oh my god.
Also, the cigarette smoke is just absolutely.
American cigarettes are pretty sharp and pungent, yes. So, you discussed this with Rebecca at length for at least an hour. And you come up with the idea that they do seem to be a link that maybe the police missed, or maybe they ignored.
Okay.
Or because it seems like it's hardly noteworthy. But they all seem to have visited Harlem after dark. But like, lots of people go to Harlem after dark, because you know, side-eye wink wink. Harlem has
what
a lot
about
of speakeasies.
what about if, say, a hobo and a rich Nancy Pants went to Harlem after dark?
The rich Nancy
How would
Pants
they
could
fare?
buy his way into a speakeasy and get some good booze from the mafia, probably.
Oh, okay, cool.
Or they'd
so,
shoot him if they thought he was
alright.
muscling in on their territory. Either or.
They're definitely going to shoot this man, just because of how he talks. So cool. Great. Harlem, you say? Interesting.
Also,
Interesting
it's interesting to note that at the beginning, the first few bodies were found in different precincts. And I don't think they shared information back and forth, because I don't think they cared enough. Even after everything got transferred to this Captain Robson, it didn't go anywhere until they arrested Hilton Adams.
Hilton Adams.
Yeah, that's the guy that they told Eric.
Oh,
was framed.
that's the Patsy.
Patsy.
Okay.
That's-
Who I'm just now reading in the article is actually awaiting execution.
Yep, he's in Sing Sing on death row.
Oh, didn't get that far. Even though it's a 2-paragraph article.
And I'll tell you what, I think that guy's innocent, but I can't prove it, and I think Robson is, at best, incompetent.
Yeah, we have a hobo that wants to punch him in the face, so
You
you know.
know a lot of hobos. You talk about it a lot.
Well, it's just the one, and he is very fast and
Loud. Very loud.
He
very
is
loud.
a dear friend and a veteran.
You know that look that what's her name always gave Jerry and Jerry Seinfeld, with like her mouth open, like you can't believe you just that's what you're getting right now.
But he's a vet, so you know he can be trusted.
Do you?
Um,
what else do you wish to discuss with her about this?
She want to come
Specifically.
check out. I kind of throw my African imports theory at her and see if she wants to come along.
She can't, because she has other things she has to do today for the paper, and that's not a lie. But you should follow up on it.
Okay,
Maybe you can share the byline if there's a story to be found here.
cool.
Would you have any
All right.
other resources that we might be able to use, or information? It's rather important.
How much interest do you show in Hilton Adams? Wrongfully Patsy man.
Quite a bit.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of fucked up that he's gonna get shot or murdered, executed. Words.
I might be able to convince him to let you come as a visitor at Sing Sing.
Yeah,
would be
that would be
beneficial.
great. Cool.
She brightens at that. She likes you guys.
Good job, ladies. Good job. Good job.
Thanks.
Maybe you can scare up something that would blow this story wide open.
You
We
ever
should
heard
hope
the name
so.
Silas Nakwane?
I have not.
Okay.
I don't see any mention of it in here. Pointing to her stuff. She's got a lot of redacted reports, though, so you know.
Right.
Do you have any reports we might be able to look over?
She's letting you look at her entire scrapbook,
What?
which contains the earlier redacted murder reports, which is you only were able to gather what I already gave you from them.
Oh, okay.
The very strange connection of all having visited Harlem after dark. Easily overlooked, not necessarily corrupt police. You know, it's like being in Orlando and saying, they all went downtown. What? That's a connection.
They all went downtown once.
They've
It's all downtown.
They've all been to the Mellow Mushroom. Well, yeah, so is the entire city. Right. That kind of a clue.
Things will be great when you're down. Okay.
Eventually, she sends you on your way because she has other appointments to meet, and you burned away the whole afternoon.
Way to go,
Cool.
man.
You too.
Yeah.
You take Sydney's private car with his driver. In luxury.
Not
comfort.
not Hazel.
Yeah,
What?
not
What?
Hazel. The guy who brought you tea and the biscuits. You arrive at the library.
Man Hazel.
Man Hazel. You're let out of the car, and your manservant gives you a look. He looks at the library. He looks at Dan. He looks at the library. He looks at Dan. He arches his eyebrow very Britishly at you and drives away.
I can put on
Good
more
luck, sir.
clothes. I got a suit in my bag.
You feel
What
like
are you
feel
wearing?
like it's not the way you look. It's more volume control.
Yeah, I will turn to Dan.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
hobos in New York City in the library.
Mr. Lombardi, your presence here will be great, very useful and appreciated. However, there is a expected level of low volume inside these walls.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
I'll let you take the lead, Chief. Go right ahead.
All right, and then we will go into the library, the library.
You are in the library. It is New York City Library.
Is there silence in
Large
the library?
and large and echoey and full of the smell of old books in the 20s.
Wow.
Out of character. Like,
Stories
yes,
high.
Lou, do you have any books on demon worship and occultism?
That's actually
section in here.
that is actually a question you do ask in a Cthulhu game. Yes.
I know. Yes.
We're looking for Tobin.
Yeah, that straight
Spirit
face.
Guide.
Do you have the Lesser Key of Solomon?
You got books on African death cults here?
It is like you can hear exactly. Nailed it. You can hear noise because there's lots of whispering and echoes and footfalls. So there is noise. It's a low volume of noise, yes. It's like the low rumble of a what do you call it? Of a orchestral concert before the orchestra begins.
Okay. So I will walk up to the front desk.
A very severe little old lady with the greatest bun ever. Steel gray hair, like you're pretty sure you could break your knuckles on it. She looks at you and smiles. She looks at Dan, her smile falters a little. How can I help you, gentlemen?
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for seeing us. I is just wishing. Could you please put me in the direction of any books that might deal with
African death cults.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lombardi. Yes, with perhaps African cultures, other cultures outside of the United States. Also, particularly maybe anything that might deal with occultism or burial rites. Also, if you have any books by Jackson Elias, we would be looking for those as well.
Do you say demonology also?
That as well, sure.
Tyler.
She's taking notes and nodding, and when you say demonology, she slowly looks up at you. arches her eyebrow disapprovingly. Says, yes, sir, right this way.
It's for research.
Also, if you could, any books perhaps written by a Mordecai Lemming?
I will be back
Good
soon,
idea,
sir.
boss. Good idea. Tyler,
She's
did
calling
you-
the police.
Has the name The Bloody Tongue been dropped yet? That because we have
Why,
the symbol, because we have the symbol of it carved on his forehead, but I don't know. I don't remember if that got identified yet as such or not.
I don't know. You'd have to
That
go through
sounds
your
like-
handouts and see. That's a good
See, I
question.
That sounds like some metagaming there, Eric.
Yeah, I don't think we know. I don't think we know that yet.
Yeah. What? Have you been reading? No. Get off Wikipedia, goddammit.
That's why we're here to look up that symbol.
Oh, okay.
Shame on you.
I'm looking to see. Like, you guys can see all your handouts. Same place you look at your character
No,
sheets.
I do not
I
believe
don't
the
think
symbol
Bloody
has been
Tongue's gonna
identified or talked. Like we only have the symbol drawn out.
Okay.
One of the things I was going to do here is going through these books, actually try to identify that symbol.
Okay.
So I don't think we have information about it.
I wasn't.
She
I
comes-
wrote it
she-
in my notes as that. I didn't. Wasn't
She
sure
has-
if we had confirmed it.
She has. Well, that you wrote it down that way because of the hat. So he wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily cheating. The hat was a
Oh,
bloody
yeah, no,
tongue
no, no.
coming out of a mouth.
Yeah, we know
Oh.
that something about bloody tongues is out
Right.
there. Just don't know anything about it.
She escorts you to a table and makes you wait. She's gone for quite a while. What do you do while you're waiting? It's kind of boring in here, Dan.
Pick up a book.
Jab,
Library.
Jab nudge. You pick up the nearest book. It's real boring.
Put it back. Take out another one.
3 books later, completely right back in the wrong spot. Still bored.
Ah,
I wonder if she'll accidentally find a book on hobos.
they got any newspaper strips in here? Any comics?
They do have newspapers in here, yes. You see Dan stand up and wander off to the periodical section alone, Sydney.
He's a grown-ass man.
Yeah, I'm just perusing, you know.
Actually, I take that back.
Okay.
I apologize, Mr. Lombardi. Mr. Lombardi, excuse me. Yes, hi. While I do appreciate that this is quite monotonous and tedious, I do think that perhaps since we are less than 24 hours removed from a friend of ours being murdered, perhaps we should stick together as best as possible, even in a public setting such as this, as distance and quietness is tended to be in the library. I would hate for something to silently befall you if I cannot see you.
Wait, you think they're gonna come after us next?
I have no reason to think they will. However, I have no reason to think they won't. They did.
I
see
got
our
you,
face-
boss. No.
They did
No,
see
don't-
our faces.
Yeah.
And if any of them happen to escape custody or know who we are, we might be in danger.
Okay, yeah. No, I got your back. I got your back, Chief. No worries.
So, Mr. Lombardi, perhaps best be on guard. And I'll pat his shoulder.
Put the newspaper down. And now I'm just
No, no,
like
no. You
watching
gotta-
all the exits now.
You gotta do the newspaper with the eye holes in it.
What?
So,
Yeah, I just like now I'm just like sizing everybody up, which I guess in New York that's normal. Big, brawly looking hobo, like sizing everybody up as they come by.
Okay. She brings you a large pile of books and drops them in front of you. Give me those library use checks.
Yes, thank
I
you
am
so much.
not
This is
my
not
area.
my best skill in the world, but
Oh my god.
so
Can we buy these? He's got money.
Her eyebrow arches all the way up into her receding hairline, and she points at a giant wooden sign that says, "Quiet, please."
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Can we buy these? He's
No.
got money.
Maybe from a bookstore, sir. She wanders off.
Mr. Lombardi, perhaps it's best to not announce that one has money.
Well, if you can't buy their books, then why are they here?
Okay.
For public use.
Dan has
Okay, can we
no
go
luck.
use them?
Dan has no luck with these books. What about you, Sydney?
I explained the benefit of taxes, however, not me paying taxes, but just taxes in general, for the use of the
Oh,
Alright.
I'm gonna use these books, ma'am.
Jesus.
Oof.
You guys rolled the same thing.
Would either of you like to use a bonus die or a reroll? I know you're not spending 40 luck points.
I don't think I have any left.
Okay.
20 skill. I suck at this, man. Not my strong suit.
Failing
should have
doesn't
Mr. Call.
necessarily mean you get nothing.
Right.
Fair enough.
You'll get at least something based on, your base skill level.
Yeah, I've also, just because we're trying to look up the symbol and get any information, I also have occult and obviously any spot hidden if we need to see something, so.
I'll try bonus die. What the hell?
Okay.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Oh.
Yes.
Fuck you. Oh wait, that's good. That's a 0.
That's a 0.
That's
That
a
makes
0.
that 0. That makes that a 2.
Yep, that makes that a 2.
Yeah!
Fuck,
Holy
yes.
fuck!
Yes. That's crazy.
Yes.
Eric's the only one who can ever push scrolls in this game, apparently, and
My
Hazel
God.
occasionally.
Once in a while.
Okay. You are able, Sydney, to come up with a bunch of research on the Carlisle expedition. That thing that Jackson told you he was chasing. And, all kinds of stuff on that, and you get lost in that, and you don't get anywhere else.
Okay.
Dan, however, keeps asking the lady, who gets more and more consternated for more and more books, and you're getting really worried you're going to get thrown out. When Dan's like, look what I found, and hands you 3 pages of neatly written script.
Check this out, Chief. Check it out.
You're like, what?
Sorry?
Okay. First, we'll dump on you what Sydney discovered.
Yep. Not a lot.
Oh, there's a lot coming. 1!
Oh no.
I'm going to leave them all up for about 20-30 seconds so people can look at them. Feel free to read them out loud or read silently.
Oh shit. Massacre confirmed.
Oof. Also, just for everyone's ease, I have a list of all the best one-liners.
Nice. So this one basically tells you the Carlisle expedition confirmed massacred and lists members of said expedition.
Erica Carlisle.
That's the sister, remember? The one that tried to find... Yeah.
Of the dangerous search for her brother.
Who cross-referencing library records, Sydney, you're able to confirm lives in New York City.
Get the F. Shut the. What?
Roger Carlisle dead.
I'm getting him out, so keep reading that one while you wait. Only take a second. There are many. I gave you the last one first because my numbering is weird, but that's okay. Carlisle expedition embarks for London. Whereupon they did research, picked up more expedition members, and it leaked that they were heading to Egypt.
So one of the people
Carlisle
found
American?
dead. No.
Oh, he is.
So one of the people found dead, Sir Aubrey Penhew.
Yes.
We have a clue tying back to London for the Penhew Foundation.
Yeah. Another wealthy guy was part of the expedition.
Mhm.
Penhew.
And then a New York newspaper. Playboy Roger Carlyle quietly leaving town to go check out the tombs of Egypt. This is a society piece. Apparently he's a well-known ladies' man in town, or was.
Okay.
Sydney's best friend.
Well, we knew that. We knew he was a Playboy guy doing Egyptology.
American or English.
Important visitors.
Royston Whittington.
This is a newspaper article about the expedition arriving between stops between Egypt and Nairobi.
Leading members of an American archaeological expedition arrived here on holiday from digs in Egypt's Nile Valley. Oh, Mombasa. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Yep. Useful financing.
Apatia Masters.
Houston. Okay. So, alright, so yeah, we're seeing that they came from New York to Mombasa.
Expedition feared lost. Doom.
Yes.
So these are all the people that were part of the expedition.
All
Important
feared
visitors?
lost. And then the first one I sent you comes next, where it was confirmed they were all massacred.
They've all been killed. Yeah.
Followed by the sister shows up to see what happened to her dear brother. Her intention was to lead her own expedition into the bush and not quit until she found out what happened, and she did. She found their corpses.
Mm-hmm. Fount of Life. That's the name of the ship she went on.
Followed by murderers hanged. Nandi tribesmen locals found guilty after a short,
Very short,
expertly conducted trial by all the white British people.
Yes. Trip post.
Huh. So, sounds like Miss Carlisle sucks.
So why would she suck? Why do you say she sucks?
No reason.
No reason. You just like she sucks.
Well,
There's
I
no
mean-
direct connection between the locals who were murdered and her. She found the bodies, and then she returned home. And then several weeks later, they hanged some locals for the crime. You don't have a direct connection that Erica had anything to do with the 5 Nandi tribesmen being hung.
oh, okay, very last
She
paragraph.
found the
Miss
bodies.
Miss
Yeah.
Erica Carlisle defeated an reference rescue brother left several weeks ago, but is surely comforted now by the triumph of justice. I mean,
That's what they wrote about it.
right.
If you want to know if she's a terrible person or not, maybe you
Well,
can
talk
try.
You gotta meet her. You gotta talk to. We gotta talk to Miss Carlisle. It's Roger Carlisle's sister. She's gotta be somewhere out here.
Eric,
My God.
Okay.
you got a hard success on that library use, and you're like, this symbol, hold on, is definitely the symbol of some kind of old world tribal death cult. You don't know exactly where from, if it was the African subcontinent, the Egyptian part of the continent, maybe even farther north or east. Somewhere in that region, though, of the world. Ancient.
Boss, I bet you if we show this to that guy Lemming, he's probably gonna know more about it than we do. Martin was talking about this guy. He says he's an expert or something like that in African death cults. The police were just blowing him off.
The name of this cult? The Bloody Tongue.
There it is, boss.
Documents seem to indicate it was thought to be originated in Kenya. Thought to have originated from Kenya.
Wasn't this guy Larkin from Kenya? He had like a Kenyan accent.
Is what you thought.
This can't be a coincidence. Come on.
I'm starting to believe more and more there are no coincidences in anything that's happened to us since we met in Peru all those years ago.
Okay. 1 second. Discuss amongst yourselves while I look up something else because Eric rolled hard. Again.
Ooh.
It's just there is a lot here. Okay, so but a lot of this what I found we already knew. The Carlisle expedition went out, traveled through Mombasa, got lost, and then killed. But now we know that the sister went out to find them, and is back in New York. Eric found us that they're called the Bloody Tongue.
Well, you've got an African-sounding name on this card. You got African stuff in Harlem, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right. That was Lemming saying that there was something going on in Harlem.
No. Well, yeah. I think he was supposed to be talking about that, but Lemming, I think, is from Manhattan. I don't know if we'll find him in Harlem specifically, but that's what Poole told Daniel. It's like, oh yeah, this guy is from Manhattan.
Right. Lemming thinks the murders are connected to some sort of death cult.
Yeah.
The one connection between everyone who's murdered is that they were spending some sort of time in Harlem, but that's so vague to mean almost nothing.
But we did find the card with that guy's name on it.
But we have the card with.
And he's a client.
He appears to be a client of this importer guy,
Right.
who, as someone pointed out earlier, is probably using Emerson to import. I mean, it's just a guess, but stuff from likely Africa and maybe occult objects.
Yeah.
And Dan, as you dig through the information, you discover references of this Bloody Tongue cult across various books, and you think you found the name of a book that may provide more information.
Oh shit.
It's called The Narcotic Manuscripts. It's an ancient tome.
Narcotic.
It is an ancient tome. 5 bound manuscript versions are known to exist, at least one of which is rumored to be held by the New York Public Library in the special books section.
Special book section.
Please tell me it's
okay.
made out of flesh.
Let's find out.
Descriptions say it's a quarto embossed in reddish leather, binding of a later date that contained manuscript on strange parchment.
They're made of skin.
Hey, boss, you ever heard of this here? You ever heard of the narcotic manuscript? Look, check this out.
I'm familiar.
It's a special book section you gotta get access to. Do you think you can ask the nice lady with the hair bun and we can get access to the book?
Seems to be our best, most direct lead. Yes, I'll see if we can access the special section.
I'll let you do the talking.
Credit
this
rating
time.
roll.
Credit rating.
I'm sorry, sir.
I roll a time.
I'm sorry, sir. The access is only for professors and
Non-hobos.
other studied researchers, unless, of course, you could make a donation to the library, perhaps.
I won't even buy lunch. You think he's going to donate to the library? Not even lunch. Snacks.
Snacks.
As I will attempt. Okay.
Oh my god, are you not going to roll?
Let me ask.
You're not going to roll it! Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy shit! Are you fucking keeping it out of it? You are!
All right,
Holy
Mr. Job,
shit,
tell us what
dude.
you'd like to do. Mr. Rockefeller,
Oh, God.
continue.
Wow.
Come on, what are you waiting for, boss? Come on, let's
Waiting for Clive to shut the fuck up.
You know,
hear
I know he's gonna like have to bribe
Continue,
somebody, and
Mr.
he's not
Ford.
going to.
I can hear Clive yelling in my head, for not, spending money that he doesn't have. Okay. So,
This is beautiful.
I completely understand, yes, that only researchers and valued donors should be granted access to a place of such importance and books of their stature and nature. As you can tell, obviously, I'm a researcher of very particular studies and areas. I can talk at length, of course, if you would need to, and proving my ability to research and write the academic papers in which I'm looking to start publishing. So please, I'll so please, if you would mind, and I can do a history or a cult or anything like that to try to you can also follow up, of course, with
Roll a cult.
Prospero Publishings. They are aware of me and they know who I am, and that's who I hope to be working with. I haven't meeting, and okay.
She's nodding and smiling the whole time you're talking, while she writes the receipt for the check you haven't written yet.
I see.
You succeeded, but that had to be a hard success on the librarian.
I understand. You know what? Perhaps.
Valid try.
Perhaps a donation is in lieu, just to make sure that the operations of the library are seen to for the head's future. I need to make the roll for credit rating?
Yes. If you fail, what would have happened is you actually lose money, because you have to write a really big check. But you didn't.
Barely.
It's good enough. You write the check. This will not hurt your stupidly massive credit rating.
You have a credit rating of 93?
If you're going to play the part, you go all in, is what he said on creation session.
Yep.
You have a credit rating of 93.
That's why most of my other skills aren't great.
No, I'm not talking about it being so high. I'm talking about how fucking cheap you are.
Why do you think it got to 93? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Caldwell, some of us have money by not spending it.
His full name is Sidney Scrooge Rockwell. No. This is a Cthulhu game. It's Sidney Marley Rockwell. Okay. You were allowed into the special book section where you come across this this tall. It's like this wide. The leather is a very odd texture. It's oddly grossly soft. Red leather.
Ew.
It's locked shut. You're given the key and told
It's flesh. It's flesh.
You may spend as much time as is necessary, but you cannot leave with the book.
Understandable.
You and Dan are looking at the book. The book is closed.
Go ahead, boss. Hey, if you need me to boost the book, you just let me know, okay?
Will do, Mr. Lombardi. Be prepared.
Yeah. Always prepared.
It's not like
do
you
this.
gotta buy the book.
I will slowly approach the tome.
Madness is about to happen.
And I will open the front cover.
Do you peruse the contents of the book?
Yes.
Sanity rolls next time on Masks of Nyarlathotep.
No!
Wow.
Is it real?
Yes, the next session will begin with recovering your luck, and then we'll begin with Sydney getting screwed real good.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, I'm sorry, Sydney.
My God. Oh my
Come
God.
on.
Rating 90 plus. Rich. The level of moral wealth affords great luxury and comfort.
And as
I'm
the session
aware.
comes to a close, always remember, if the book contains knowledge man was not meant to know, don't read it.
Oops.
If the mission requires spending money, Sydney won't spend it. And most importantly, save the last bullet for yourself. Good night, everyone.